Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Thursday, April 1st at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I am live. Woohoo! Oh, yay. Let's see here. Hey, Stephanie. Hello, Lila. Hello, Wanda. Zoom in. Zoom in. All right. Zoom out. All right. Good to see everybody. Get your patooties in here. We love ya. I love you. I love you. You love me. What's that from? Somebody remind me. I know it's from something. Oh. Okie dokie smoky. Don't forget that you guys, Jillian went ahead and posted some pieces for you to color. Oh, is that what it is? Sorry, Julie. Oh my gosh, that's it. Jillian's gonna be here in a few minutes. Oh, let me see here. Okay, so I gave away what's happening today. Gillian Wilson from, what company is she from? What's the publishing company? Somebody needs to tell me. La-da-dum. La-da-dum. Come on, Jolt Book. Not quite right, Sandra. Try again. Excuse me while I blow my nose. Sorry. Thank you, Julie. That's it. No S. Very important that you guys keep that straight because otherwise it goes to the wrong place. Okay. All right. And boy, did I get happy mail today. Okay. I got happy mail. Well, actually, let me correct that. We got happy mail. La-da-dum, la-da-dum, la-da-da-dum. Okay. La-da-dum, la-da-dum. You know what, guys? I get the nicest cards from you guys. I wanted to just thank you. So, this is from Christy. Christy Benzine. Don't steal your Amazon, man. Sorry, too late. And she sent me, bless her heart, thank you. She sent me some of that silver paper. So guess what I'm going to be doing with it for you guys. Isn't that cool? Pardon me for a few guys. You're working on your... Okay. Thank you for letting us know. Hello, Katie. Hey, Katie, I need to know where those other books came from. So look at that. We've got this silver paper, so you know I'm going to play with it, right? So we're going to do that. Okay. Wanda says she'll be listening. And she sent me, let's see. Christy sent me this little card. I don't know, Sandra. I got to play with it and see. That's exactly what I'm going to find out, if we can use pencils. So Christy sent me this card with the paper. May each new day bring you sunshine and flowers. Zoom in. Zoom in. Look at that. I love it. Hey, Maddie. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. And Christy says, thank you for all the love and time you invest in teaching. Well, Christy and everybody else, you are so welcome. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. And I will have you know that I save all my cards. Katie, can you send me the titles, please? Text me. Honestly, if you tell me in the room, that doesn't help me. But I mean, thank you for telling me in the room, but I need in the text would be fantastic. Okay, so let me cut this open. La-da-da-dum. So it looks like we're going to do kitty cats. You guys should have downloaded that picture. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Always helps to stay in the line here. Except when I teach you guys to color over the line. Okay, so let me cut this open. La-da-dum. Welcome to everybody who is both in the room and in the balcony watching. We love you. You guys don't want to miss this program tonight. You really don't. Let's see if I can pull this out without... There we go. Dang, Gillian. The glue on this is... Woo-hoo! Jojo has entered the room. Hello, Jojo. All right, let me make a copy of this, guys, real quick. Sit tight. Say hello to people for me, everybody. Okay. La-da-da-da. Okay. No share button again. La-da-dum. All right, let me put that little guy in here. There we go. And let's see what else trouble I can get into here. If I don't do this now, you know what's going to happen is right in the middle of things, Wanda is going to rightly say to me, ILene, did you spray the pages with krylon? And ILene will think, oh no, I forgot again. And to anybody that's new, here's your krylon fixative. And you want to spray your pages so you can do things on your paper. Yeah, Mary, I saw that. I'm so sorry. Mary, can I offer up a prayer for you? Sorry for the clacking. All right. You know what? Yeah. All right, Mary, and refresh my memory, your husband's name, please. Okay. Ooh-wee. Ben, okay. Lord God, in the holy name of Jesus Christ, we offer up our prayers for Ben Blankenship, who is in the hospital, who was just taken off the ventilator because he had emergency surgery. You know his issues. He had 2 holes in his stomach. Lord God, thank you so much, though, for catching this and getting him the care that he needs. Lord God, we thank you for taking care of Ben and Mary. Mary, I'm sure, is very worried, but she knows to give it to you. So God, I thank you for quick healing and that Ben will be home very, very soon. We thank you, Lord God, for your attentions. In the holy name of Jesus, amen. All right. Yes. So Ben is now protected. Oh. Okay. What's going to happen on the 6th? Jeff is going to happen on the 6th. All right. Now, I told you I got Happy Mail today. Oh, Mary, you're welcome. Hi, Gillian. Miss Gillian is here. Sit tight with me for a minute, Gillian. Okay, what do you guys see on your screen? Looky what came in today. I'm not going to take them all out for obvious reasons. So we've got gouache. And this is also part of what Maddie helped arrange for the group. Yeah, we got a pretty box with a dent and a tear in it. So here's the quick story. Maddie won the prize from Helen Elliston. Helen had sent us a gift certificate, and Maddie said instead of me, getting the books or the prize, I want to donate it to the group, which she did. So I used that, and some of the money that was left over from Helen, and I added money and got this. So we now have gouache paints. And I'm going to play with that. You put something in my hands, I'm going to play with it. All right. And I got something else today in the mail, but that's for an announcement tomorrow. Okay, Gillian, go ahead and push your add button. We'll get you online. We are a very blessed group, guys. We are, yes, that's right. And I'll make you want it too. I need to put this. Okay, now listen to me. Before you buy this, if you're going to get it at some point in time, please let me put it on the affiliate list. Okay. Okie dokie.
Hello.
Hey, look who's here.
Just hold on one moment. There we go. I can hear you now. Hello. How is everyone?
Fine. I just got a weird notice from Facebook. Hold on. It says we're having technical problems, so when you add a guest to your broadcast, your viewers may see a different part of your camera view than you do. Please update your app to fix the issue. I have no idea what that is.
I don't have it.
Okay.
But I had a lot of trouble last time, so, and I'm having trouble with my ring light today. It's not turning on. It's like nearly brand new from Amazon.
Oh.
It's a good brand, and it's just like not even turning on at all.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it'll be a little tricky to see what I'm doing coloring wise. I'll do my best, but
okay.
Yeah, was not expecting my light to die today of all the days.
Hey, we work through the stuff like this, no problem. Did you
Right?
get your hair, Gillian, you got your hair cut, didn't you?
No, it's just washed.
Oh, there's the rest of it. Okay. It was blending in with your shirt. That's why I couldn't see it. It looked like you'd cut it.
Yeah, it is a little bit monochromatic. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, okay. If I was better lit, like you'd be able to see me better from like a different angle, but I don't have anything to put the iPad against here, so I'll do the best. But yes, I'll have to get creative here. I do have another light that I might try, but when we get started, I might run down and grab it. But we can at least catch up and do our little intro and that sort of thing, and then I might run down and see if I can't.
Okay, Gillian, let's do this. Let's do this. First of all, just take a deep breath and relax. Not the end of the world. We're cool. If anything major happens, we reschedule, no problem, but I'm sure we'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
So you go run and get your light, because that gives me a chance to show what else I got in the mail today.
Ooh, okay, sounds great. Okay, I will be back soon then, and I'll exit the shared screen, and then I'll just request when I'm back.
Okay, see you in a little bit.
Sounds good, thanks.
All right. Okay. Here, I'll exit you. Hold on. All right. Okay. That's all right. It gives people a chance to come in. So we now have, I can talk about this a little more. You know that I've been anxious to play with this, the gouache paints. So I will play with it. Don't run out and buy it yet. I'll show you how all this stuff works, and we'll have fun with it. And I wanted to show you that. Maddie, thank you so much. So between Maddie and Helen and me, yeah, Gillian is cute, isn't she? She's a beautiful lady. So I wanted to say now that we have these gouache colors. So this was a try effort, me and Helen and Maddie. It wouldn't have happened without Maddie contributing her prize. So thank you. All right. Then I got, I'm telling you, my delivery people are gonna have a fit. I don't think they're metallics, Lila. Okay, so does this look familiar? Look who sent us a stack of books. Now, I'm just going to show you this real quick. I'm not going to go through them yet. So here's that little Horse Diaries book that I got excited about. And what I'm going to do, I'll read the story, but I'm going to go through, and what I got excited about was coloring. I'm going to color these images. So I thought that that was so cool. That's what I got excited about. Now, I'm going to throw an idea at you. If you're ever in the Goodwill or the bookstore and you see books like this that have images, something like this, snap it up and color in it, right? And wouldn't that be a gift to one of your children or grandchildren? These images are gorgeous, of course, because they're Ruth. Isn't that cool? So there's a thought for you. Wherever you get your books, or Goodwill or whatever, if you see books like this, grab it, color it. It's just a simple little storybook. Zoom in. Zoom in. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Had any of you guys thought about that before I mentioned it the first time when Ruth was here? These images are absolutely beautiful. And in fact, you know, look for Ruth Sanderson books, but they don't necessarily have to be Ruth Sanderson books. See? So what do you think? You like that idea? Thumbs up, thumbs down? I actually wish she had sent me little foxes too, but I'm not going to complain. Okay, back with the light. Okay. Gillian, do you have it plugged in? Take your time, Gillian. I mean, look at this. Can you imagine coloring this? Oh, Mary's done it for her class. That's right. Okay. Now, let me show you this real quick. This is what we now have in our library. This is from Ruth. I'm going to see if I can get her to come in again. She probably will. Look at this. So we've now got 12 dancing princesses. We've got Cinderella. Yay. Okay. Here we've got Goldilocks. Isn't that beautiful? We've now got the Snow Princess. And again, I'm going to put these on my affiliate. We've got the Fairies book. Wanda's got this. Wanda's been dazzling us with, oh my gosh, and she signed them. Honestly, I didn't notice. Look at that. Okay, Gillian, be with you in 2 seconds. Then we've got Women of the Bible. Then we've got The World of Horses. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that great? So I'm going to log all these in, and we've got Fantasy Faces. So this is what Ruth sent us today. Yay. Okay. Let me get that out of the way. Okay, Gillian, go ahead and request. Lila says she's got all those books. Go ahead and request, Gillian, when you're ready. Do 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 do. Okay. So if you guys want to send her a little note, I would appreciate that. Just for her generosity. Did you see those books, Gillian, that we got?
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
So I'm gonna get Ruth back in here and we can play with that. Okay, but we're here to talk about you and Jolt Book, right? No S, don't forget. And we are going to do our colorings out of Mercurial Mandalas. And
yeah, we'll start with that one.
Okay. And this is, again, Jolt Book, and it's called The Coloring Hive is the areas, is the segment for the books. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gillian.
Yeah, it's our brand. It's the brand done by the publisher. So instead of picking a name that sounds like a person, we wanted it to be very clear that it's a collective, and then to really highlight the name of the person who is illustrating the books.
Beautiful. Okay, good. All right. And then we have Eccentric Egg Mandalas. And that's the second book also. And I know that you guys have been picking all these up, and thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for the support. It's amazing. It means the world.
Yep. Yep. We got a good group. Okay, so Gillian, let's talk about our relationship first of all. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we met on another Facebook coloring group. ILene was looking for artists who could be compared to Kirby, Roseanne's, Joanna, that sort of thing. And obviously I am not that artist, but I have found some artists like that and hired them to illustrate some coloring books for our brand. And yeah, when we connected, there was a fantastic synergy between us. We had a lot in common as far as why we colored, what we were looking to bring to the coloring community. I was so impressed with the community that ILene had built in this group and how supportive and just awesome it is. You know, a little bit about my reason why is, you know, for me, it's about mental health. And I think that art therapy should be for everybody. So yeah, we decided to work together to bring myself and the other artists in our brand to this group who can make it, and those that can't, because some of them don't have great English or like spoken English. They have great written English, but they're very nervous about speaking on camera. Buying a house, so I've told everyone not to call me between this time, but sometimes people are still dealing with so to me. So that was just a phone call there. But yeah, so that's how we kind of connected, and it's been great. My first interaction with this group has been phenomenal, and I'm really, really excited to bring our other artists to this group because I think it's a really great place to get feedback, learn what customers are looking for, and just grow your overall brand as an artist, which is obviously a core value of ours in the business, but mine personally as well. So yeah, that's the high level summary. I'm sure we can get into it as we go, but yeah, any questions or thoughts on that?
And let's go ahead and talk about Jolt Book a little bit. These are just for the people that weren't here last time.
Yeah, so Jolt Book publishing came to be after I lost my job in July. And I'm just seeing some great comments here. Yeah, so Jolt Book Publishing came to be in a dream. Long story short, I actually had been in publishing in 2016 to 2017. Actually started in 2015. And the lady I worked with was this incredible kind of Miranda Priestley-esque character who really mentored me, took me under her wing. She was very fashionable. It was a business magazine, though. It wasn't a fashion magazine, but we did have a fashion issue every September, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, she kind of brought me in and just helped me understand the ins and outs of the publishing industry from the magazine side, which is different from the book side, but we both bonded over our love of traditional publishing as well. We had a lot of the same favorite authors. We really paid attention to the trad publishing world for a long time. And as the indie world started to build up steam, she was always someone who was explaining what things meant and kind of the opportunities available to kind of become your own publisher if you so wanted to. But there are some pitfalls in that, of course. But the company itself was experiencing some financial troubles, ironically, and it was a business magazine that had operated for 20 years in my home province of Alberta, Canada. And the magazine had just bought an oil and gas publication right before a big boom happened. And it really killed our economy, but it also really killed the magazine itself. And when companies go bankrupt, they just walk away. So pretty much all of her clients went bankrupt and left her with, I think it was almost like a $500,000 bill worth of unpaid work. And so it was just something that she couldn't fix. We're all human, and they say don't meet your heroes. I was very lucky to get to meet my hero and work with my hero, but I did see her at her darkest hours, and the mental health really got to her. So long story short, you can Google her. Her name is Ruth Kelly. She is someone who I do this in honor of because she taught me the importance of that. I had always known about it, but until you lose somebody with their battle with mental health, you don't realize how prevalent it really is and what it can look like. So, when I lost her, it sent us all for a bit of a loop. And, I had been working in the startup and economic development space for a while, and I really wanted to start my own business, but that kind of put me on pause for a little bit. Yeah, I know. Enjoy the rabbit hole, Katie. I'm giving you guys the long story because, this is a good session that we're doing here. And yeah, Jolt Book Publishing came about basically a few years later after I lost my job due to COVID. And I realized that I had kind of all these pieces ready to go to be able to start this publishing company. And I had actually planned to start in fiction, and I discovered coloring books by accident. But I'd been drawing for quite a bit while I'd gotten back into writing as well. Discovered coloring books and was like, this is really interesting. Bought a few, started coloring again myself, and was like, this does something to my brain. It does the same thing to my brain that drawing does and writing does. And
yes.
Right. And it's so cool because now you don't need to be a fine artist. You don't need to have any pretension. It is entirely for you. And I fell in love with coloring again as an adult, and what it could do for people and what it meant for people. So Jolt Book Publishing, oh, yeah, it's not like, sorry, I'm just reading Katie's comment. Jolt Book Publishing came to be because of that, and it started looking more down the fiction path, and we will eventually go down that road. But we actually ended up moving into coloring because just with what's going on in the world right now, I wanted to build a business that brought joy to people and made people happy and help people achieve some balance in the craziness that we're all experiencing right now. And I knew that I could do it in such a way that would be empowering to artists, because I'd seen, you know, in the industry, a couple of interesting trends that I figured that I could kind of show you could be a successful coloring book publisher without doing those things to artists. And yeah, it's been a wild ride, and luckily, you know, connecting with people like ILene and whatnot has been amazing to help our brand gain the exposure and help our artists gain exposure. And yeah, we're excited. We've got 40 plus more coloring books that the artwork is just about handed in or handed in.
Woo!
And it takes, yeah, so we've got a lot of publishing to do in the next few months here. We are going to be really busy. So this is great timing because as I produce the books myself. So our workflow is I go to an artist, and if I like their style and we agree on, you know, kind of the working rate, I just usually whatever their rate is. If I can afford them, great. If I can't, I put them on my one day I would like to afford you list because I would love to hire everybody. And if I can afford it, great. If not, you know, usually that's the kind of artist that doesn't need me anyways. I want to find artists who are really talented but don't know how to self-promote themselves, and those are the ones that I specifically take on, and it's worked really, really well for us. We've now got artists where we're doing more of a royalty thing where they trust what we can do for them, and we're working together to just continue to create some awesome content. And the way that we work together is I would look at their style, and then I offer them, you know, 3 to 4 different prompts based on niches that I think would work, but really tied to like them and what they're good at drawing and where I think we could make some magic together. And then I produce the books once they've handed in the artwork. I often do quite a bit of art direction as well. And then I'm the one who formats them, designs the cover, writes the ads, writes the description, puts the whole book together, publishes it, you know, I go through all the legal T's and C's around that. So I also act as the publisher. So that's why I say my title is both a designer, illustrator, and publisher, because I do all 3. But I've only illustrated 2 of our books. I do have several more coming out myself, but it's a balancing act between my art and working with my artists and working with putting all of these books together. And it takes me about a week to do each book. Sometimes I can get one done in a couple days if I'm really on a roll. But that's about what it takes to get our books into the market. And yeah, like I said, we've got about 40 coming out. So I have a busy several months ahead of me on the business side, just producing.
So let me ask you this question. What would you have to say to any artists that, and that's Vicky saying hello, what would you say to artists that are watching this broadcast or will be watching this broadcast, I'm sorry, excuse me, about getting in touch with you and your interest in working with them? What is the criteria for that?
So we're not taking a ton of new artists right now just because we want to, we've got so much handed in work that we want to do each of those books justice. And to create a book, there is a significant amount of art direction that sometimes goes into play. And then some artists are very, very self-fulfilling, self-running. So it does depend a bit on the artist. But when we are open again for submissions, we will have a form on the website. And that form will kind of just walk you through what your goals are. I can usually tell looking at an artist's portfolio really quickly what they can do and what I can potentially pull from them. Some artists aren't good about building a portfolio though, and so sometimes you know, I give a little bit of feedback on like what I see, but obviously that can be a very time consuming process. So short answer, I will have a submission form. Long answer, I do find working with each artist is as unique as working with anyone else. They each have their process and we have our process. So our process is to look at your portfolio, say we're open, and then I can tell usually right away if it's going to be a fit or not. If I'm on the fence, sometimes we might work on a sample drawing together, but I will say that 2 out of like the 50 artists I've worked with where I had reservations, they were reservations for a reason. One, I caught them stealing artwork from someone else in their portfolio. Yeah, and when I asked them to do a sample, it was so unlike their portfolio that I actually went digging and I did a reverse image search and I found who they stole from and let them know and got that person's account taken down, unfortunately, on Upwork. But don't steal. I don't like it when people steal art. And the other one was using she was actually decent. I could tell she was just very new in working with clients and was almost abrasive, and I kind of just pulled back at the last minute, and I had this like great sense of relief in not working together. And someone else I know in the network did end up hiring her, and it went really badly. So it is somewhat interesting to me. Like I do have really good intuition, I find, with artists, but the 40 plus others that I've worked with have been absolute dreamboats. And so, you know, like I could go on about like what makes a good working relationship between an artist and an art director. It's interesting for me because I have been in both sides of this of that end, both, you know, at the magazine publisher. You know, I didn't design actual editorial content. I actually sold the advertisements for the magazine, but you had to be pretty involved in all the creative and editorial when you did that to do it well. And we had a really, really high editorial standard. It was a really, really good magazine, like a very high end mag, and very well respected. And you know, I really learned a lot from our art director there on how to work with artists and what artists expect and what you need to expect from them. So, I mean, you know, that could be a whole other thing, but, you know, yeah, like basically when we're open for submissions, we'll announce it. And the way I look at things is I do go off of the portfolio first. And I think that just comes with experience. When you've done it enough times, you know what you're looking for. I'm looking for artists who can create, like you guys know as colorists, you like a certain kind of line art, and there are lots of different types. There's open style, there's clotheslines, there's thicker, there's thinner, but someone who can create somewhat clean line art. And what I mean by that is it's when you have a steady hand as an artist, you produce like a very smooth line, and that's what people like to color. Some artists, just their style is to produce like a more scratchy line, and that's not always what people love to color. I will sometimes like give them feedback to see if they can shift their style a little bit, but I'm looking for artists who really understand line art and line weight and like line consistency. And then I look at like what they actually are skilled at drawing and what we needed for our portfolio or for our growing catalog. Like we've got 24 books live right now, but we wanted to make sure we had plenty in all of the different categories that we wanted to publish in. So yeah, it also depends on like for example, I really want to do a cat book. I've done one kind of a cat book. Yeah, it's a different kind. It's like I have a very specific cat book I want to illustrate. And like I haven't hired the illustrator for it. I kind of will know it when I see it, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so I'm also like kind of always passively looking too. If I find it, like I will reach out to them and ask if they would be open to working on a book together as well. I have found, I want to say at least 5 of my artists that way, just seeing their artwork and just going, that's the one I need for this thing. I'm going to message them. And, you know, it's worked out really well for most of them, like I said. So great question.
And the way that they can reach you, I'm kicking myself that I didn't think of this earlier while you were talking. Let me zoom in on this address so that people can see it. All right, give me a second here and let me get, there we go. So there's the website, the www.joltbook.com, and you can either take a pic of that while you're watching this, or watch it in the broadcast while we're doing this. But this is, and let me scroll down or move down a little bit. This is Gillian Wilson, Gillian. And again, this is a way to get in touch with her. Now, Gillian and I are also talking about that if an artist wants to go ahead and have me look at their work, or our group look at our work, they can get a hold of me and we'll talk about that. And any artists that are working with Gillian, they can get a hold of her and Gillian can tell them, and the whole bit. So the point is, samples can be sent to me. You need to talk to me first if you are not working with Gillian at this point, and we'll go ahead and work on how you can supply a page to the group for the group to color. And that's potentially available to everybody. Okay, so which are we working on first?
We're gonna start with the Fae Queen coronation one, because you guys, you're gonna laugh. My day has been a little bit crazy. I think I'd mentioned on the last live that we'd put in an offer on a house, and it had been accepted. And then over the weekend, the house failed its inspection in multiple different areas, but most importantly, the septic, because it's an acreage. And so I was there today getting secondary opinion, because the plot thickens. The person that we hired to review our septic, it turned out he was the sole distributor of, I guess, this like very expensive system, and he was saying it was the only system that would work to fix it, and it was a $50,000 fix, which would have killed our deal, quite frankly, because I know the sellers wouldn't have been willing to pay for that, because we weren't, like, when we put in an offer on the house on a functional septic, and it's a very expensive solution. So anyways, today I had to go back out there for their other inspector to come in and quote a more reasonable price that's not so biased. And yeah, and the inspector we had, like, I can't even, like, you guys, he was like saying his mom died last week, and then he told us she died 2 years ago. It was just kind of crazy. And like, I think, long story short, he just couldn't finish what he was doing, and so we had to hire like 3 different inspectors, long story short. So I have been like driving around the countryside today, dealing with this situation, which has just been a roller coaster. But we'll find out like tonight if the sellers are going to pay for it. So it's a big day for the Wilson family.
There you go. And then on top of that, you knew that you were working on this broadcast tonight.
I know, I told them, I was like, I have to go at this time, hard stop, right? Yeah, but I've been excited about this all week. Again, thank you guys so much for having me, and for being fans of my quirky, symbolic artwork. If you guys didn't see the last broadcast, I get my style for mandalas is a little bit different than other people's style for mandalas, and it's a little bit more like a mix of like pop culture with like symbolism and kind of like 2D style, and I like to hide things. So this is actually a good segue into the piece itself, which is the Fae Queen coronation mandala.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna lift my phone so you guys can see it, and
Okay.
I've got like a little setup here. How's that? Can you guys see what I'm doing?
That looks good.
Great. So yes, anyways, we're starting with this one because my printer broke, of course, today, and I was going to print off the egg book, because you guys have gotten my eccentric egg book before I have up here in Canada. which is kind of funny. So yes, we're gonna start with this one, but my husband printed off my egg mandala at his office computer printer.
Yeah.
So I will have it when he's home in the next, I don't know, half hour. So he's just gonna wordlessly come in and deliver my art.
Oh,
And
no. He has to come in and you're going to flip your camera. I'm serious. Flip
yeah.
your camera so we can say hello. Okay.
Well, I will enjoy it. You guys will enjoy that. He's very handsome. He kind of has a Chris Pratt look going on. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chris Pratt. He was the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, Lila, you got it. So I would have gotten it, but my delivery got lost, and so they had to resend it. And you know, in Canada, it's a week to get the books. So yeah, I don't have it, sadly. But yeah, anyways, he's kind of got that look going. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He's the joke in our household is it pre or post fit Chris Pratt? He's somewhere in the middle because he's a working man.
Well, promise us that you'll introduce us, okay?
I will.
And if he objects, tell him tough. He's got to be introduced because you and I are in our group and you are in a relationship, so we're going to want to meet him.
That is so funny. He is going. If he's a ham, honestly, it will be no problem.
Oh, there you go. Good.
Although I can't like say things about us on social media. Really, he's very funny about that. Like, you know, and I actually appreciate it. We'll just do husband talk. He's an old-fashioned kind of a guy in some good ways. Like when I first met him, he actually phoned me, you know, to confirm our date. And, you know, I was like, weird, someone's phoning me. He's not texting me because, you know, my generation is all texting. And I quite liked that, like, he was willing to talk on the phone. I know that sounds like such a big deal. But to my generation, it was a very big deal. Yeah, so, you know, he's awesome. He's very supportive of the business. Oh, hi, Denise from New Brunswick. I love seeing all of my fellow Canadians. I apologize. I live in Alberta. ILene, you don't know, but Alberta is like the Texas of Canada. And most of Canada hates us.
Uh-oh.
Because yeah, it's a whole thing. But I live in Edmonton, and we're like this one pocket that is not like the rest of Alberta. But yes, thank you, Lila. He is a sweet guy. He's very supportive of my business. He is one of my investors. You know, we joke about it, but technically he is one of my investors, and I've got a few different ones outside of the bank that have been helping me with this venture. And yeah, it's really awesome when you find a person who believes in you, you know, even when you don't believe in yourself. And yeah, I will say, like, after Ruth lost her life, there were a lot of doubts in my mind for a while, because she was kind of my, like, you know, inspiration, my mentor and everything. And, you know, in my head, it was like, if she can't do it, I certainly can't. And, you know, Sean was a big supporter of reminding me that that simply isn't true. And even really talented people and smart people can get caught. And, you know, she got a little caught in her situation. And there were some learning things I took out of that for sure. But yeah, Sean was definitely one of my biggest supporters in this venture, and still is. So yeah, so I'm just getting started. I'm using the Ohuhu skin tone set for this, and the color I'm using is R20. You can see that. And I swatched it out on the little page here that I use for notes. Some people I've seen use my coloring notes and are very organized and pretty. The way I kind of use it the way I paint, which is kind of like a messy palette, and I kind of just keep those things in my head. But I know some people are very good about writing things out and love that.
Yeah, I've got the Ohuhus as well, and I love them.
Yeah, they're so, I'm really enjoying them. I love how quickly they lay down color, and they blend really nicely. Not that I'm an expert at marker blending, but they're nice.
Okay, now have you seen how did you pre-spray your page with krylon?
I did not. I'm just going for it. I should have done that.
Okay.
Don't do what I'm doing. I'm in one of those sort of haphazard coloring moods, and for me, sometimes those moods, it's just like I just want to get the picture colored and look at it, like enjoy the process.
Okay.
So listen to ILene, don't listen to me. I definitely should have sprayed. I'll spray the next one.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. If you
The
want to take a
difference.
if you want to take a second and go ahead and spray your page, that's fine as well. Can you see comments, by the way, Jillian, as we're going along?
Yes, I can see that sometimes the timing of the comments is a little delayed, but
Okay.
yes, I can see some so far. And yeah, I see a question about markers bleeding through. They do bleed a little bit. There is a black page I set behind, but I always throw a little blotting page behind it as well, just to be extra safe. Because, you know, it's no fun to have things bleed through, but it doesn't impact like the front of the page at all. And I see another comment. Oh yeah, husband says I should sell my coloring. I told him I can't because I didn't draw the picture. That is correct. There's a whole thing in like some of the different coloring groups I'm in where on occasion people will do that. The reason you're not supposed to is because that artist might actually sell colored prints. And when they're selling colored prints, even if, you know, like you're coloring it differently, if your work is seen first, it impacts the way their piece might be presented into the world. So sort of like when you're an artist, you should be reserved the first right to present it a certain way in the world if you're coloring it in. And the problem is if someone else is selling that colored work, they risk the fact that that's not the first time you see that artist's work. So even if they're selling colored prints, you won't see that piece the same way that that you might have had you not seen it before. So it's sort of like a first right thing. And also it's a competitive thing. Like they've sold the license for it to be colored, for you to color it, but they haven't sold you a commercial license to profit off of it. And they still, like, at least our artists always own the original copyright of the work. So they can, I've actually encouraged several of my artists to start selling prints. And fun announcement, my week has been website updates because I've inked an agreement with 2 of our artists, but probably more coming, to sell their prints directly on our website. And
Oh.
yeah, all the profit will go to them. We don't want to profit off of it. We just want people to be able to buy it because a lot of them haven't figured out how print on demand works. They just are fantastic artists and you know they're very good in their space, but they don't really want to deal with all that. So yeah, we will be selling some of those, and that'll be really exciting.
Okay, and what Jillian was commenting, I don't know if you heard the question, but they want to know the question came up, is it okay to change items on the page?
Oh
And
yeah,
that was
you
what
can do.
that's yeah, so what were you addressing about first rights and so forth?
Oh yeah, so just talking about if you were to sell the work,
Oh,
like if
sell.
you were, yeah, if you were to sell like work that you colored in,
Gotcha.
as like work that can be bought, for like someone can buy it in that current state
Got you.
that you
Okay.
colored it in, then that's where the problem would lie. Um, but it does, like, you, when it's your own work and you're not selling it, like, and you bought it, you can do anything. It's just when it comes to selling the work that it can become problematic and a little bit
Okay.
tricky.
All right. My understanding was that you even cannot sell something that you've colored regardless because it's not your original artwork.
Yeah, that
So,
is absolutely correct.
yeah, so all the discussion that I've seen, folks, is you cannot color something like what we're doing tonight and turn around and sell it.
Yeah.
It's not yours to sell. It's yours to color, but you cannot sell it because you did not draw the original work.
Yeah, that's correct. So like I saw in one of my groups, someone was doing that with Christine Caron's books, another Canadian artist. You guys are probably very familiar with her work. It's stunning. And they were coloring in her work, and they're, you know, beautiful coloring, but they were selling it for profit. And yeah, I kind of came off it, like I kind of came at them a little bit. I was like, you can't do that. And
Yep.
there were a bunch of people saying, oh no, I think you can. And you
No.
know, she chose to believe those people over someone who publishes and knows you can't do that. But that's okay. Like, she knows she's stealing. And you know, so long as you do that and you know that's what you're doing. I do sound like such a snobby old lady, but it's true.
No, you don't sound like a snobby old lady. It's all about, listen, it's all about protecting the artist and their work. And
Yeah, exactly.
unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people. Okay, Katie wants to know, what about mixed media pieces where you may take bits and pieces? What do you mean? You mean copy bits and pieces and put them into something else?
Yeah, you're still in great, you still can't use it unless it's in the public domain. Like, so for example, I've used like words of like national anthems that I've copied. Like, you can't even use like words and lyrics from like artists without their permission, technically, like musicians I'm talking about. So like I've seen
Mm-hmm.
even people have gotten in trouble in books because basically like they'll quote like a song or something like that, and even then you have to be really, really careful because technically you are using someone else's art for your art.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of them, you'll notice like they'll describe the person but they won't actually name it, things like that. But yeah, you do have to be really careful. So yeah, you can't really use anything without permission. You always have to check the licensing, but I can tell you in coloring books, they're only ever licensed for you for personal use, which is to color it in for yourself, but you can color it however you want, so long as you're never selling it yourself.
Yeah.
For like, if that makes any sense. So that's where the line is.
Okay. And are you watching questions, Jillian?
Yeah, I'm just scrolling up. So long as
Okay.
I have the newest comments. Yeah, I see here. Not everyone has access to a computer or scanner, Denise.
Yeah, the comment was about resizing is scanning and then resizing it if you wanted to resize it on a page.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's always something you can do.
Jillian, what's your Ohuhu marker number, please?
Oh, BG4. So this
Okay.
is from a different set. This is just from like a big set of
Okay.
colors.
Got it.
I use the skin tone one just for the skin tones, and I'm just laying them down flat. And then what I'm actually gonna do is I have my polys up around over here that I'm gonna go over and kind of do some blending and highlighting and things like that on the face. But again,
Yeah.
like my art style for these mandalas is more of a 2D style, so they are designed where you really don't have to shade if you don't like to or don't want to. You can just color them. It's sort of more of a 2D flat
Okay.
style.
Well,
Yeah,
please go
Melba, if
ahead.
you have permission from the artist. Oh, sorry, what's that?
Oh, I was going to say, please go ahead and describe what you're doing because they've seen my style and I would like them to see your style.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, my coloring style is really has always been more for like enjoyment than like this glorious finished product. So the way I color is a little bit more relaxed, a little bit laissez-faire, just because for me, this is my time where I'm not creating something commercial and it's sort of my break. So you guys are just getting to enjoy me on my like relaxing coloring break.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's just how I color, but I encourage people to color that way because I see so much like perfectionism cropping up in these different groups. This group, I don't see it at all. This group's so amazing and encouraging, but I just want to keep that good mojo going. But yes, Melba had mentioned if you have permission from the artist and give them credit, some will allow it. And that's totally true. I know for a fact Christine Karen did not give the girl I saw in one of my groups permission. She just, you know, wanted to post and find out if she'd get in trouble for it. And I was like, yes. You know, so yeah, that was, can I zoom in a little? Let me see.
Pinch squeeze on your iPhone or your
Yeah,
camera.
it's the live. It actually won't let me.
Okay.
Like,
Actually,
that's weird.
on my iPad, mine is letting me do it, and I'm just, you see that? I'm just pinch zooming
Yeah.
on my page.
I got a little closer. I'm not on an iPad for this part. I'm using my phone, and I'm actually looking at the iPad in front of me so I can read the comments.
Okay.
But I think I managed to get it a little closer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so guys,
You
what
can
I'm
see
doing,
a little better.
what I'm doing is I laid down a first layer of pencil, and what I'm doing now is I'm going through and I am adding my shading around the outside. And like I said, Jillian, if you want to take a second and spray your piece, that's fine.
Yeah, definitely. I think with this one, I'm curious what it's like. I'm gonna play with something here. So
Okay. Now, as my group knows, so what I'm doing is the second that I put the marker down, I am moving it with my finger. So right now I've got the krylon on here, and then I have the layer of pencil, which is allowing me to smudge and blend this. Now, you cannot do this with alcohol markers, only water base. So I'm going ahead and adding my skin tones here around the outside. So Jillian, let's say that, you know, we've got these lips right here that you drew, and if I'm working on something else, excuse me, and I want to get some, you know, nice lips on that, would that be a problem if I copied these lips and put them on it?
What do you mean?
Okay.
Like
these lips here on the lady, on the queens here.
yeah.
So let's say I wanted to use the lips on something else that I was working on. Could I trace that and copy it and draw these lips on something else, and would that be a problem?
Not at all. No, again, it's for personal use. Yeah. When it's personal use, like you can trace, you can do whatever you want, really. It just comes down to you know if you're selling it, that's where the work gets where things get tricky. In art school, you know, some teachers will actually teach you tracing first. Some people get really mad about that, but there are times where, like how I learned to draw animals was, for example, like really complicated, tricky ones. You actually trace the shapes of the animal first, and it helps you break down like what it's supposed to do, if that makes any sense. And it gives you this base that you can then start to, it's called pushing, but you can play with the proportions of what you're drawing. And that's how you can make like really fun, like characterized creatures and that sort of thing. Or just like really funky proportioned cartoon animals. But you always start by drawing the shapes. And so, you know, faces, they do the same, the way they teach you to draw faces is you're drawing different shapes. But yeah, I guess long story short is some people learn by tracing a little bit too, and I don't think that's all a bad thing. I think it's a tool like anything else that, you know, has to be used with some caution, but like not to become a crutch. But again, you're coloring, so it's completely different. Now, one thing I'm doing, I don't know about you guys, this is an art trick, but eyes, the whites of the eyes, technically in a drawing, you want to use like a very light blue. This is quite a vibrant blue, so I'm probably going to blend it with this lighter gray. But the whites of the eyes on a person, when you're actually like, if you want to go for like photorealism, you actually use a little bit of blue.
Aha.
And that's what gives it, I know it's weird, but when you mix a little bit of blue into that white, it makes it pop and makes it look more white on the eye.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's an old painting trick as well. But you'll see when I'm done here, I've used blue, but when you look, it doesn't look that blue.
Okay. Pull your, pick up your piece, please, and move it towards the camera a little bit so we can see. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Everybody see that? Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Fun little trick. And
so this is a combination, this broadcast tonight is a combination of talking about Jolt Book and also you as an artist and any tricks and tips that you want to talk about. And this is the time for people to ask questions, guys, if you have any questions.
yeah. So as I'm coloring in this eye with the ohuhus, these are alcohol markers, and you'll notice like they bleed. I actually work with the bleed when I'm working in small areas, and I just dab a little on, kind of almost like a watercolor. And I just stay well away from the black lines, and it's all filled in and ready for me.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna go, I want this like, yes, it might be a bit dark. I'm doing like a bold purple lip, but you have to be a little careful. I might actually use the same purple and just darken with pencil.
Okay.
I'm not sticking to like normal colors.
Yeah, and that's fine. And Gillian, like I said, take your time, relax. I want this to be fun for you and relax.
Oh, I'm having so much fun.
Are you? Good.
Oh yeah. You get, oh, and my husband just came home. I heard him. So he will be joining us in a few minutes here.
Good. Okay, so I'm going around.
You guys might hear some poppy barks.
I'm going around with the marker. You guys have seen me do this before. And again, you've seen me when I lay down the marker. These are the water-based, and I'm going ahead and I'm blending that right away.
That's so pretty, ILene. Oh my goodness.
And what you can do is, if your blend gets a little bit wonky, because I've got some little streaks and lines here that you may be seeing, that's where, you know, I'll be going back and adjusting the colors on the face as I go. And right now I'm just laying down the groundwork and getting some of my basic shading done. Now, also notice here that on the images left, or my right here, I'm going ahead and putting in a little bit of shading on the side of the nose. And that way, that's going to give us some dimension. Oh, and Gillian, if I'm describing a technique and there's a better way to do it, just tell us.
Definitely. Well, I will say that is the right thing. You definitely want to be shading it around the nose. I'm going in with my shading after. I'm first starting with all the colors together, and then I will, it's kind of like makeup, and then I'm going to like decide what like makeup I'm going to apply to her cheeks.
Well,
hey, Jojo.
As you guys know, I have absolutely no ego in this. And I don't want any artist guest to feel like they can't say something. If there's a better way to do something or an alternate way, please say something.
Definitely.
Now, Gillian, if you say you jerk, ILene, you're not supposed to do it that way. I kind of rather you don't take that approach, but
I'm a Canadian.
There you go. Yeah, you've already apologized once for living in the area that you live in.
I know, right? Once a day. I know. I forget how often we apologize for things. Like, I really do forget how unusual that is with the rest of the world.
So
Like,
explain that.
it's just
How did Canadians get that way? I mean, what's the deal?
it's like a politeness thing. It's like this sort of like it's become almost slang. Like we don't actually mean it in the way I think that the rest of the world means it. It's like, oops. Like it's more like that than like a true like I'm sorry. And then there are
Yeah.
times where it's like I'm dreadfully sorry, but I don't know. It's like almost a slang.
Okay.
Like if someone is holding open the door and they like close it for somebody, not holding it open for them quite as long, like because they weren't sure they were coming in. Like it's
Uh-huh.
an immediate, oh sorry. Like it's not that we're like cringy and apologetic. It's just like oops. It's
Oh
the
yeah.
best way I
Oh,
can
and
think of it.
I would do that. I would do that too at a door. I mean, if I accidentally close it or something, I would say, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah,
Sandra
yeah.
Sandra K wanted to know, and the Mercurial Mandalas, how the heck, I'm reading this, how the heck do you color the images on the black paper?
So for those ones, I usually just use a gel pen and like kind of cover the lines. I don't actually color the whole mandala, but
Okay.
I am going to update that interior with the larger mandalas.
Yay!
And yeah, because why not? That just seems like a way better coloring experience. So yeah, that is on the old to-do list to update. So it is coming. But
And
in the interim, yeah, just the
I
little
was going to
markers.
ask you that if you had thought about updating the book and making those larger.
Oh yeah, you better believe
Okay.
it. Yeah, it's easy enough for me to do. It just it's probably like 2-3 hours of work,
Yeah.
that I need to find. But
Oh my
it's
gosh.
yeah.
That would make that book look out of this world to have the larger, the same size as the one on the white paper.
Yeah,
Definitely.
when you did the flip through the other day of the egg book, I was like, yeah, I'm changing it.
Yeah.
That looks way better. But that's why we do these experiments, right? Like for me, it was an experiment to do the small, and then when I realized, maybe I should do it bigger for the egg book, I just needed that final push to go like, yeah, it's worth updating the interior
Okay, and
and
guys,
taking those 3 hours.
I'm showing this on camera. This is what we're talking about is in this book, Mercurial Mandalas. The mandalas on the black pages are smaller and the ones on the white pages are full size. So that's what we're talking about, that Gillian's going to go ahead and they're going to update and what, just reissue the book or just from moving forward?
It'll just be updated and it'll take like the way I'll just update it in Amazon's system. There's no point in doing a whole new one. I would lose a lot of like ranking and rating basically.
Right,
So
right.
I'm just gonna update the current book and I think that will be like probably a welcome change, I would hope. And then yeah, I would just let you guys know when the changes actually take an effect in their
Absolutely,
system.
yeah, absolutely. It would be welcome because I would, personally speaking, I would love to work on that page with the larger. So the favor I'm going to ask you is when you do that, when you send me more books of other artists, will you throw an updated book in there? Do you mind?
Oh, of course. You can get any book you want from me, ILene.
Oh, well, look, I appreciate that offer, but I don't want to be a huge expense. I mean, we'll work all that out.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is definitely an expense to send out books. But it's I love that like by the way, I don't know if I should announce it now or later, but I am going to be giving out some prizes for submissions on this. ILene, I don't know how you normally like to run it, if it's like a week or so to give people time to color the image, but
Hmm.
I would absolutely love to give out some prizes to some people who have colored them in, and those prizes are books.
Yes.
So I will be doing a a prize giveaway. I will be giving away 10 books.
Ooh.
So yeah, gonna be a lot of fun, and they can be any book you want that we publish. So 10
Oh.
books, and we're gonna say 5 winners for different categories. I haven't posted them yet, but I will after this. And yeah, each person will get 2 books. So yeah, it'll be awesome. Some people definitely be walking away with some new babies.
Okay, so is that surprising everybody and exciting you guys that you can get prizes for coloring this stuff? Yay. Okay, so what I'm doing on mine now, as you can see, is I'm going through and I'm doing all my faces and I'm doing my shadow around the outside. So this is bringing the skin tones in. Again, you with your krylon spray, and because I put the pencil on top now, that is letting me blend that. So we are in
So
good
cool.
shape. Jillian, is this for people that are, I mean, it doesn't matter where they live, right? I mean, in the UK or wherever they can get this.
If you live somewhere that Amazon doesn't deliver, you'll get the downloadable PDF instead. But otherwise,
Okay.
yeah, if you are in an Amazon marketplace, you'll get the Amazon book. And if not, you'll get a download.
So no restriction,
Because I totally
guys.
know some places. Yeah, not everyone can get the delivery, right? Like, for example, like I know people in Australia can get them, but they have to pay like pretty exorbitant fees.
Yep.
So like if you were in Australia, I would be sending you a PDF.
Yep.
Also, I think getting deliveries out there right now is just very tricky in general. The down under. One of our artists lives in Sydney. She's a lot of fun. Down under girl.
Okay, now the other thing that I want to show you guys, and we've talked about this, Melba also brought it up, and I've talked about it before, is you want to take a photograph of, or a pic, depending what generation you're from, take a pic of your picture, photograph of your picture, and you can see where the areas are that you're darkening and what you want to darken and what you want to lighten a little bit. Oh, there you go. Jojo says us Aussies love PDFs.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Jojo, what time is it over there? Gosh, I'm always so fascinated with like time differences. You know, working with Kel out of Australia, you know, we tended to really connect around 3 a.m. my time
Yeah.
live. You know, and that I forget what time it was for her, but that was always when we would kind of connect over the work. She was one of the most self-sufficient artists I have ever worked with. It was crazy. She just went for it. Oh, it's lunchtime. Okay, very cool. And I'm reading Everyone Wants to Be a Bestie. All of you get to be are now my new besties. I am just thrilled to get to be a part of this amazing group. You ladies and gents are a lot of fun.
Yeah, we are. We have got a wonderful supportive group here, and they buy stuff. They listen, my group members buy stuff for the group. I buy stuff for the group, you know, so we can do it on camera, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. So it works out really well.
Such a lovely community.
Yep.
So right now what I'm doing is I'm taking a slightly darker blue. So this is the BG4. Before I was using this one, I believe. There you go. BG68. Oh no, I was using BG4. So I'm just using BG4 again over this, but I'm very light with my markers. So I'm just going over again with a layer, and it's adding a little bit of shadow and depth to the hair just to give it a less flat look.
Okay, and then on my end, don't forget, guys, how I always tell you to color over the line with your coloring, with whatever you're using, because why? Humans, oh, sing it. Oh my gosh, Julie's. Okay,
Sing
Jillian.
it, Hyde.
Yeah, you need to listen to this. We have a theme song in here.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, let me turn this down. Okay. Okay. We are family. Da, 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 da. That's our theme
Ah,
song, from the
I do know that
and,
song.
and I was feeling so excited one night. I went on, oh my gosh. I need to do this again. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, guys.
This is amazing.
Give me a second here. Now, you do realize now when I do this that this video is going to get banned in like Indonesia and some weird places. So, but that's okay. Hold on here. I got to do this because we're having so much fun with this. But really, we are a very strong family in here. And that's why we encourage people to join. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me get here. Okay. Got to get through the ads. Here we go. You got to listen. You ready, ladies and gentlemen? Da, da. Here we go. Woo!
It's like hand dancing.
Da, da, da. Yep.
Look, it's a radish.
All right, get ready, everybody. Our family. Woo! Family. Da, 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 da.
You guys are adorable.
Woo! We are family. I'm bopping. Are you guys?
This is amazing. I'm dancing in my chair.
Yeah. Here we go. Woo! I love it. Stephanie Connors put the little images on there. Our family. Woo! All righty. All righty. There you go.
You guys are hilarious.
This video will now be banned. I will get an email from Facebook saying your video is banned in such and such countries because of copyright, but I don't care because when I get in a mood, that's it. And I'm in a mood right now. So Jillian,
That's amazing.
That ought to tell you a lot.
Ronnie, don't fall out of your chairs now, ladies.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And any gentlemen, of course, that are watching, we're family with you too.
Getting our groove on.
I'm not kidding. One night we were talking and I was just feeling so good and we were just having a really nice, oh no, Julie's telling my story about radishes.
Oh, okay, we were all wondering. A bunch of us were like, what's the radish?
Well, we were given a book that allows you and shows you. I got to show you this book here. This is so cool. Let me pull out here. This book was given 50 ways to draw, and this is from Virginia Dare.
Oh, cool.
this whole book, it is so neat. It shows you how to draw very simple items, you know, because I like to add things to my pages.
Right.
And so we got into the vegetable, oh, there it is. So we got into the vegetable section, and I actually drew this up and then I colored it because I wanted to demonstrate about drawing something up and coloring it. And then I got to talking about radishes because I love radishes and Melba loves radishes. You know, you got to get
Oh,
salt with radishes. So then I said, well, you know, Melba, now I'm going to want to buy some. So I did. So that's kind of my radish story.
that's funny.
Oh, yeah. So did your husband walk in on the We Are Family stuff? And is he
He
laughing?
didn't. You know what? I think he came in because he didn't want to make a lot of noise. So I've
Oh,
heard him very quietly. I'll have to go bug him and say I think when I finish sort of like this part of the mandala, I'm gonna go bug him and also grab my Catsby and check the time because I do want to make sure I can show some coloring of that one as well.
okay. Yeah, we
Uh,
need to get him. We need to get him on camera.
yeah, and I'll go find him and get him.
So did he happen to walk in though while we were playing that song? Do you know?
No, I had the office door
Oh,
closed.
oh, bummer.
So he
Okay.
didn't. He did not know. I'm sure he heard the music though. I was probably like, okay, what's she doing on this YouTube channel?
Oh. Okay. All right. So I've got my basic colors down for my faces. Now,
Beautiful.
so Jillian's got some elf ears on these ladies.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am going to there we go. I really love these mandalas that you do. And because you do them so differently
Oh, thank you.
than the standard ones, you know, I'm willing now to get excited about them because you know that they were not my favorite thing. And then I started seeing this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go through here, and I love the little hearts for earrings. That's cute.
Oh
So I'm going
yeah,
to
I
go,
work in a lot of little heart jewelry in a lot of my work.
oh, and you've got a
That's
little,
one of
yeah, the little ear metal on the ear, what do you
yeah,
call
that's
that?
like one of my I have a very like some people call it whimsical. It is on the childish side, but you know, like fantasy, you know, kind of that style. And yeah, all of my faces, all of my women, they usually have a little heart studs for earrings. It's just like
Yeah.
one of my things. But you know, you start to you gotta as an artist, you start to figure out different ways to like mark your work.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's mine. I am a little bit on the whimsical side, and might as well own it instead of hiding it, because like some people love that about my work, and the
Okay.
people who don't love that whimsicalness, they're just they're probably not the people who would like my art anyways. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing, like the advice I have for artists who aren't sure, like, because for me, obviously, for a long time, I was very unsure charging for my work because I had mentioned on the last session, I had a lot of imposter syndrome because I never graduated from art school. I dropped out because I found out how much artists made, and I just wasn't sure I could make a career out of it. Like the ones who really made it, but a lot didn't, and I just wasn't sure. I didn't believe in myself enough, and yeah, I think the more we just love our style and lean into that, the more we'll find our people. Like you guys, you guys are amazing, and you are taking. Oh, you're making them green. I'm so thrilled. Like you guys have taken like quite a liking to what I do, and like I so appreciate it. And every time I get to connect with people who like my art, and it makes them happy, and it gives them something. It's such a great feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why
Well,
we do it.
yeah, and also, I don't know if you have read any of my opening statements when I broadcast, but I always tell people it's not what I'm coloring, but it's how I'm coloring. So
Yeah.
I want to stretch people so that if this isn't exactly your cup of tea, that's fine. Oh, good night, Ronnie. Ronnie's leaving. Um,
Night.
oh, and Jean says she loves radishes and cucumber with salt. You better believe it. Cucumber.
Interesting.
Oh, back to the store.
I'm
Um,
allergic to cucumber. I'm
are you
allergic to
really?
many things. Yeah, I've
Ah,
got like crazy allergies. I get it. I come by it honestly, and I can't really complain because my brother is that kid who is anaphylactic to nuts and like everything. So,
oh, okay.
I'm not anaphylactic to anything, so I can't complain. But definitely there are some things I'm allergic to that people are like, you can't eat this. I'm very allergic to alcohol. Which actually I don't miss all that much now, to be honest.
Okay.
I would feel way more sick than everybody else, but yeah, that was something that I inherited from my dad, and and I didn't grow up in a house that really drank much, anyways, because
Yeah.
um, my mom also I think had a bit of an allergy. We were all a little allergic to it, so
Yeah.
it definitely kept me straight and on the straight and narrow growing up because while all the other kids are partying, I was just like this art nerd who would prefer to draw and read over feeling like you feel the day after a day of alcohol or an evening of a lot of alcohol imbibing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's sort of like a blessing in disguise in a way because it's and I'm definitely a lot less expensive. On the
This from the woman who said that she's got people that have invested in her. You're saying you're less expensive? I don't think so, honey.
what's that?
I said this
It
from the
cut
woman
out
who
my
said,
phone ring.
yes. I said this from the woman who said that she's having or has people that have invested in your business, and you're
I
saying
know,
you're
right?
a less expensive person. I'm sorry, that just struck me funny.
Oh yeah, I said it was a less expensive date, but it cut off on the date because I got someone calling me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm a less expensive date on the alcohol bill, but not on the food bill. I love like a nice steak dinner. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, bring it over. Once Lila wants it, but I'm under the table. That's me now too, although I haven't had alcohol in a super long time.
Yeah.
But
Jean, good night. Thank you so much for making it here. I'm
yeah,
so
night,
glad that you
Jean.
stopped in. Yeah. Okay, let's see what kind of trouble I can get into now. All right. So, I think what I'm going to do, let's see here. All right. So, yeah, we've got lots of prizes, guys, and I'll have Jillian announce this. And oh,
Yeah,
Jean,
I'll
thank
post
you.
it
We
in the
love you
group
too.
too.
I really am glad you could make it. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Jillian.
you guys are amazing. Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I'll post some details of that in the page as well. But I will say, for those of you that are here live, I so appreciate you and your interest in what I'm doing here, and I hope that those of you who've bought the books are really enjoying them. That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, wait until you see what comes out of it. So I think you'll enjoy that too.
Oh yeah, yeah, you guys are amazing. I was telling ILene, like there are some artists I know that I haven't hired because like they themselves like on their own right, like they have a platform, right? Like because like I said, I try to find artists who are struggling to build their platform. And yeah, like there are some artists that I definitely want to bring into this group that if they knew about you guys, they would be so happy to participate the way I am and offer some prizes and ways
Yeah.
to get to know them, that sort of thing. Because, you know, yeah, all of us who are in the creative side of things, you know, it is all about this. It's all about connecting with the people who appreciate and enjoy our work. And thank you, Lila. That's so sweet.
Well, and not only that, you know, this group then gets to see the artist perspective, and you guys as artists get to see the coloring perspective. And that's really important on both ends. As people in my group have said, it is so nice to see the inner workings from the artists and what they're thinking, and you know, their personalities and that sort of thing. So that's really wonderful. Denise, are you
Yeah, for
falling
sure.
asleep? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious what time it is. Like for me, so when we start at like Eileen's time at 7 p.m. for me, it's I'm an hour behind, so it's 6 p.m., which
Yeah.
is really easy. But I know some of you it's quite late, and that yeah, it makes a difference. Here where we live, it's Good Friday, so tomorrow is what we call a stat holiday.
Okay.
So even my husband, who is always working, actually will have the day off, which is really exciting.
Oh, neat.
So yeah, we are looking forward to, well, we're probably going to be like, it'll depend if we're doing some packing or what. Like, we don't know. We won't know until tonight or tomorrow morning if we're going to get this house or not. So it's definitely down to the wire. I hope it works out. It would be really nice
Mm-hmm.
to, well, just, you know, for us, like it's not like a increased cost. Like I don't know how much you guys follow. Probably you don't follow a lot of Canadian politics, but our mortgage buying rates are like really low right now. So it's stimulating a lot of people to just make a change, because even just the transaction change is cutting people's costs like quite a lot. And during the pandemic, where people have been losing their jobs and all that sort of thing. So for us, it's actually like a weird way to save costs, but also like land where we want to be, which you know is an acreage in the country. And you know, because of this business, that's actually why it's possible. My husband has always wanted to move to the country, but when I was, you know, busy working downtown, I was just like, yeah, there's no way I'm commuting, you know, an hour and back. We're spoiled where we live, by the way. I know for some of you, an hour commute is like nothing. But I do live in a bit of a smaller area where, like, to me, that's like such a crazy long commute. So, you know, it's kind of nice that, you know, we don't have to worry about that the same way anymore, because, you know, I can work from anywhere.
Okay,
And my husband loves to drive.
now you're gonna have to quit saying my husband. You refer to him to his first name so that we can all get to know him too.
Okay, yeah. So Sean,
Yeah, there you go.
my Sean.
And then when
Okay.
he comes in the room, we can all say, "Hi, Sean."
Aw, thanks, Katie, for joining. Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah, Katie and I are like soul sisters. We have a 1 mile door to door besides working at home. Yeah, I love working from home. I think it's amazing. I know some people have like missed the human contact, but maybe it's because of groups like this that like for me, you guys are great socialization, and I just love being able to draw all day and work on the website all day, and to do that in a forest setting instead of, you know, a concrete jungle would be an amazing opportunity. So I'm hoping I can get to move out to the forest, but also more importantly, Sean works really hard.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a son named Sean, and it's spelled Sandra. My Sean's spelled the same way, the Sean way, and yeah, he really deserves it, you guys. He works so hard. He works 12 to 16-hour days some days. And
Mm.
I don't know why, like he drives himself so hard. It's all him, but like still he works so hard, and you know, he deserves a place to kind of like unwind and decompress at night. And the way we've kind of managed it, you know, throughout the years is usually on the weekends we'll get out of the city. But with COVID, you know, we didn't realize what an impact, you know, not being able to like socialize with people locally is done. Like it's just made everything, everyone's experiencing it. We all know. We're experiencing this on a global scale, but just how much that took the edge off so that he could bear being in the city. Because he grew up, yeah, New Brunswick is so beautiful. My husband grew up in a little out, rural town called Hay Lakes, and it's literally lakes of hay. It's like straight agriculture and forest and, not this sort of city life. So, yeah, I hope it works out. If it doesn't work out with this house, we could still look at other houses, but I'm hoping it'll be this one because it definitely is amazing for him. It made him the most happy of all the houses. So Lila, you haven't been home in years. I'm curious where you're from because I know you're in Toronto now. And that, talk about concrete jungle. I can't complain here in Edmonton. Toronto is way more busy. I've only actually been to Toronto 3 times in my life for a Canadian, and I have family there. It's just so tricky to get to sometimes. So I'm adding eyelashes because I like a good dramatic lash. So I'm just adding to her eyelashes a little bit with the black gel pen.
Good night, Pearl. Thank you so much for coming in, and you know that this will go on replay.
Yes, good night, Pearl. Thank you for tuning in. Andy Gill. That sounds very familiar. Denise, for me, it would cost so much less to live here. Where is here, Denise? I am curious. Oh, thank you, Pearl. You guys are so sweet.
There we go. You know,
yes,
it's really...
Patty.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, she was just saying she's gonna, as soon as the borders are open, she's gonna come visit. And I was saying yes.
There you go.
We want some American visitors. I'm so excited. My nieces and nephews live in the US. Oh, wow. And your Sean is also on the spectrum, but you would never know it. He's a successful software consultant working for the Liberal Party of Canada for several years. Oh, very, very cool. That's awesome. I actually used to be in software as well. That's so neat.
So what is, Gillian, what does your Sean do? What does he do for a living?
So he works for actually an American staffing company called Aerotech. Some of you might have heard of it even.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're pretty small up here in Canada compared to like the US.
Right.
But yeah, so his job, he's the manager, and his job is to liaise with the clients. Okay, you guys are gonna get a story here. I met him when I was working for the competition. So that was interesting. And yeah, he was working for Aerotech and I was working for a company literally called the Headhunters. And I was a headhunter and I was really good at it and I enjoyed it immensely. Although I think I would have eventually gotten a little bored mentally just because it does get a bit repetitive. And yeah, oh yeah, Rebecca, you've gotten jobs through Aerotech. That is so cool. So yeah, I met Sean and I didn't even know what Aerotech was until he explained it with staffing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I literally do the same job. I work at the Headhunters. And it was pretty funny until, he'd come by like a couple months into dating and see like a client card on my counter and he'd go like, that's my client. And I'd be like, oh, my client now. So, and we're both competitive, right? And we didn't work in the exact same division, but his office definitely would have competed with me. And so I actually made the choice, because I had been doing it a lot shorter time than he had, to switch careers because like I knew I would probably get bored of it too. And I was like, you know what, I really want to get into software. And so I went into software. And that was good until they hired a guy my old boss, who had actually stalked me and assaulted me on a work trip. And when I told them that, they still hired him. So I phoned my mentor, a feminist, amazing woman, Ruth Kelly at the publishers. And that's actually how I got my job at the publishing company, was
Oh.
she gave me a way out that was graceful without, you know, this is before the Me Too movement and all the rest. And the man was married with children, and not that it's right, but I just walked away. They hired him and I told them, and you know, it's really sad, is 3 months later, he did assault somebody else, which was really, that I was really upset to hear about,
Yeah.
because I was like, that is so preventable. Like, you guys knew and you hired him anyway, so
Yeah.
awful. And I'm so sad for the other woman that it happened to. But yeah, so anyways, you know, Sean has been with me through some roller coaster life stuff. And that was just one of the crazy things that he's been there for me through. He was also actually there when my horse died. Yeah, and you know, it's kind of a crazy scenario, but yeah, the horse bucked me off, and we found out later, he was a new horse to me, that he used to buck off his rider once in a while, and he would jump out of the arena to go frolic with the other horses. And you know, like, just, that was his little, you know, once in a while he just, he had to go and be silly. But unfortunately there were mirrors instead of doors on the way out of that arena, and Sean was there through the whole thing, and he actually was asleep in a chair under the mirror, and I had poked him awake just saying, hey, you shouldn't be sleeping near horses. But he had come in from a work trip like late the night before and was just exhausted, but like, we wanted to spend time together, so he came to the barn with me and fell asleep in the chair, and I was just like, hey, wake up, like, you and can you film me as well? I want you to film our canter work. And he caught the whole thing on camera, and it was awful. You know, McFly was the horse's name, and he died pretty much instantly, but not instantly enough. And anyways, I had to actually send the video footage to the insurance company. And I heard, like, you know, I was so out of it when it happened, like, you know, I was just screaming my head off. And he just grabbed me, and I could just hear on the camera, like, him just saying, I love you, I'm so sorry, I love you. And you know, I was like, well, this is awful, but I'm gonna marry that man.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, we've been together, I mean, some of you have been together with your partners, I'm sure, a lot longer, or single or whatever, but we've been together for 8 years, just about here. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster. And yeah, when we first met, he was working at Aerotech and I was working for the competition. I think I made the right choice because he still works for Aerotech and he does really well. And he loves what he does. He connects, so he deals with the clients directly. He doesn't actually recruit people. He has recruiters who do that, but he's the one who goes out and like finds the jobs. And sometimes if, you know, there's a really great candidate that, you know, they know that they can find a home for, he'll go out and like call people about that candidate. But more often than not, it's a lot of logistics work. And yeah, he's dealt with some crazy things. I have to say, it's a crazy job, and you're on all the time. You're never really off, because like right now he's got I think like 80 people on his payroll, and those people are working. Some of them are working this weekend, so you're never really off, you know. So I appreciate how hard he works. Because of that, you know, I have some of the freedom to pursue this, and grow this into something. And yeah, I used to do his job, and it is not an easy job, but it does make me a good partner, I think, since I did used to do his job. Like, I'm never like mad at him for being at work late, because it's like, I know exactly what happened and why he's working late, and that sort of thing. Although I do sometimes have to poke him so he has some work-life balance. But yeah, that's a little bit about I have to be careful, obviously not, you know, he's a private guy, but he is very proud of what he does for work, and he's proud of the company he works for. He's very much a company guy. So yeah, he works hard, and weekends we do a lot of hiking together. If the property works out, the place that we bought is 2 minutes away from this incredible outdoor nature preserve that has like trails that go for miles and miles and miles, and that's usually what we like to do on weekends when my health allows it. I do have some health things that sometimes stop
Sure.
me from being as active as I'd like to be, but depends on the
Okay.
day.
So I've had a question come up from Denise, and she
Oh
wants
yeah.
to know that when you draw a picture, do you have certain colors in mind or any colors in
That is
mind?
such a good question. It totally depends on the picture. Like this picture, I always knew I wanted this bay to have an ethereal sort of scheme if I were to color it. Hence the like blue hair and purple eyes. Although I think I'm going to do each pocket slightly different colors, just because I like to play that way. But yeah, it depends on the picture. More often than not, I don't, to be honest. But I think because I draw, like when you draw on line art, it is a bit different than painting. Whereas with painting, I'm thinking about the color like immediately.
Yeah, and that's interesting because Jeff Haney, who he does his paintings first, and then he was mentored into turning them into coloring books. So
Yep.
his deal is exactly the opposite, which is really interesting. So
To be
he
honest, I think that's a very artsy way to do it. Like that is the true artistic, correct way to do it.
okay.
It's just not everyone has the time to do that. Um, but yeah, no, it's a different process for sure. Selena Fennick does the same thing. She takes her fine art paintings. I think now she draws like more line art, but that's how she started her coloring books too.
Um, Actually, she did paintings first,
Yeah,
and yeah, and took a lot of her. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you just say that? Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah.
All good.
So yeah, it was her evolution is really interesting. And then, as you said, she went into the line art now and is doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask people in the room or in the group, when you have a question for Gillian, please put it in capitalized letters so that we can see it. And that
Yes,
way,
definitely.
yeah, that way we know it's directed and we don't miss it. And if Jillian or I have missed any of your questions, hi Rebecca, you're gonna go night. Okay, good night, sweetie.
Oh, good night, Rebecca. Enjoy those kiddos. Yeah, we don't have kids. We have nieces and nephews, and they live in Tri-Cities, Washington, and just outside of Dallas, actually.
Yeah.
So all in the States, and it's so sad not getting to see them this whole pandemic. And I mean, it's always hard to miss years, but like these are the years where like they're going to be teenagers and almost like unrecognizable. Like even when I'm seeing them on like FaceTime, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're already like changing so much. You could totally see it. And I'm such a fierce auntie. I love auntie life. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I miss them dreadfully. I really can't wait for the borders to open, although we are really behind like the developing world on our vaccine deployment. Yeah, it's been a mess. So we are probably not like I probably won't see a vaccine until September, December, which is insane.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. We
Now
are
see,
like
yeah,
embarrassingly behind.
I'm 64. I just turned 64, and we had a restriction up till about the first of the month now, and they just now opened it up and said that anybody can go ahead and get it. And so I had to actually go and get my booster for my shingles shot because I had
Oh,
gotten it and then I needed my second. So I mean, no biggie. And so I needed to do that first, and now they want me to wait about 4 to 6 weeks before I get my COVID, which is fine, no big deal. Um, so I asked what they're doing now here is they are releasing the shots into the Walmarts and our store changes, CVS. And so
oh
when
wow.
that works, we should be able to walk in and just basically be able to get it. So that'll be really great.
Well, we've
So,
got wealthy Canadians fleeing to the US to basically get shots while the rest of us sit and wait. And I say wealthy because right now the cost of traveling is crazy, and to come back, you're required um, to wait in a hotel for 2 weeks at a full expenses paid situation. Like you have to
yeah.
pay out of pocket. So yeah, that was their attempt to curb international travel, but it just really made it so only wealthy people could go. And yeah, I agree. Give it to those who need it first. Yeah, we're even behind on like our critical populations, and people are dying because of it. And it's really frustrating because, yeah, not to get too political, but our prime minister who is it gets praised internationally for the way he looks, but you guys might notice never for what's between his ears. Um, he he had this agreement with China where they were going to come and develop the vaccines. And of course, right before it happened, they pulled out. And he himself and his dad used to, like Trudeau, his father actually was a prime minister before and was the beginning of the end of our pharmaceutical industry in Canada, and pushed Pfizer and a lot of those companies out. I don't want to go too far into the weeds, but basically, long story short, is we had to pull supply from third world developing countries to even have any vaccine supply. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're behind. We're like 40th in developing countries on our vaccine rollout. So it is unfortunate. It's very frustrating because it just means we're gonna have to wait that much longer to like catch up to the rest of the world again on like where they're at.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
depressing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to go
But
too far down the COVID path here, but
no,
it's,
yeah, exactly. It's more, yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to visit my family again and
yeah.
potentially see some of you guys too. Because yeah, I definitely am looking forward to visiting some people. Oh,
But
is
you know
anyone
what?
else?
Interestingly enough, though, is that because of this going on with COVID, groups like this have formed, although that's not really why the reason I did it. I think that it's creating a whole different synergy and group with people, excuse me, um, getting to know each other and meet each other. And that's good because we can do this online. And that's why I make sure that I'm here 7 days a week, which is why I do it even through holidays. And it has brought a lot of people together. And several of my group members have met Dawn Boyer, and she's one of our artists too that, frequents the group. So it's really cool. So
I
that's a
think
good
you
thing.
bring up such a good point. I mean, I know that none of this would have happened. I would have been still on the hamster wheel of, you know, corporate life instead of having the space to explore myself as an artist again. So there are some, like, not that like I'm happy about COVID, but there have been some, like you point out, ILene, some interesting side effects that have happened because we've all been on this enforced pause, right?
Yeah.
And that's, oh, Gillian, Sandra, lots of vaccine coming now. Age, okay, good. Well, that would make me happy. I would be so thrilled. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have been seeing the odd thing of good news. It's just, I think it's like you'll believe it when you see it. Because, yeah, I think since the U.S. is so ahead of itself or ahead of where everyone thought it would be, it is going to make it easier for us. Because I think a lot of that vaccine supply originally was like Trudeau was counting on us having some of the U.S. supply. And
Yeah.
that was obviously not the most intelligent thought. I mean, like, seriously, why would you think that that would happen? But anyways, I think since they're going faster, it might make it so we actually can get our hands on some supply sooner, which would be great. I mean, at the end of the day, you want lives saved. And Lila, I saw you had it. I'm so sorry, but I'm glad you're okay. Um, half as loud as Jillian. Okay, I can also talk a little louder too. I'm not wearing a headset or anything. I'm just sort of loose here. But
Yeah, I didn't, okay, let's see. So yeah, Julie says that ILene is lower for me than normal, about half as loud as Jillian. So that's okay. Yeah, I did not put my headset on either because and I'm still experimenting, but sometimes when I have a guest come in and I have my headset on, it tends to play with the sound. So I just wanted to see how it would go tonight with it.
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So, oh goodness. I'm just looking to see. Oh, and Katie says we can visit in Maine. I have always wanted to go to Maine. We were supposed to have a wedding there, but it was canceled, obviously. So we did not go to Maine. That was supposed to be last year. Oh, Julie. Oh, I'm good. Sounds good. Okay, awesome.
All right.
But yeah, it's yeah, that's beautiful. That's such a beautiful area. I don't know what you guys do like to like when you're coloring. Me, when I'm working or coloring, I sometimes will have shows on in the background, and sometimes, you know, it's Sean watching them. And oh, Jojo, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. She's heading out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this show my husband's been watching called Meat Eater. And it's just this guy who goes around and he hunts. And I don't love watching the hunting, but a lot of it's like about and nothing against hunting, I'm just squeamish. But you know, he talks a lot about like he goes to all these different areas to hunt, long story short. And yeah, he did an episode in Maine and I was like, oh, like it is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Definitely need to go. There are a lot of places I want to go. I think that's the other thing that this pandemic has taught us is just like, you know, the world is really big but really small, and you got to see it while you can.
Yeah, Denise was asking, she said, I used to spend a lot of time there as a kid. I'm assuming she's talking
Keen's
about
Lake.
Maine. Keens Lake, do you know where that is? Does somebody know where Keens Lake is? Well,
I live about 3 hours away from Jasper, if you guys are familiar. Like, I'm sure some people have heard of Banff.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're like a slight, Jasper's like a slightly smaller, less touristy version of Banff.
Okay, so what I'm doing with my crown, I did with the background, is I filled in the background and I'm going to go ahead and put my pearl, my, let's see, my liquid pearls on there for the stars. So I'll show you that in a minute. But what I'm thinking now is I'm going to, let's see here, let me get in here.
Lila, you've been to Calgary. Yeah, I love Calgary. It's a fun city. And it's very close to Banff. Oh, Celtic. Okay, Katie, another reason we're similar. I listen to Celtic music when I'm creating a lot in the background.
There you go.
I listen to a lot of like different music in the background, but Celtic is one of my favorites.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I've grabbed a metallic pen and I am coloring over
Oh, that's pretty.
all of the original markings that Jillian put in, but since I copied this onto cardstock, I still have the ideas as to where stuff is. Excuse me. So I want the crowns. Let me grab some water. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that looks so cool. Metallic. I
Yeah,
need to get myself some metallic pens. That's our markers. Those are fun.
yeah, we've been playing a lot with them lately, and I have metallic acrylic paint, but I didn't want to mess with that because that would mean brushes and stuff like that. But I'm having a ball with these metallic markers. They were purchased for the group. Lila got a set, and I had purchased another set. But what I'm going to do is I'm coloring over where all the gems are going to be. And then you guys know that I have the bling, and I'm going to add that onto my crowns. And we also have, if we decide to use it, is we've got the glitter. Now, I may change something else here as well as I'm going through.
Oh, and Rhonda's asking a great question. She's asking what you're using for face colors.
For me, for face colors, I used a pencil, a flesh colored pencil, and then on top of that, I used a flesh tone and then blended that in when it was still wet.
That's so
Let's
cool.
see here.
And Denise was asking me, Celtic music mostly comes from down east. Am I from Atlantic Canada? No, I'm born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta, but my mom grew up in Winnipeg, and my dad, he moved around a lot, but they were in Ontario, like Toronto specifically, for a very long time. And that's where the Irish comes from, is my dad's dad. So we all have Irish kind of Celtic names, but my mom is Métis, which is it's to explain to people who aren't from Canada, because it's really a very Canadian thing. It's it's a racial designation, and I might be saying like qualifying it as the wrong thing. The term does change a lot, but it basically, you're not indigenous. It's not the same as being Aboriginal, but it's Métis means moitié or half in French, and it's in Canadian history, the Métis people primarily came from settlers who were French, who had settlements that mixed the indigenous people, primarily Cree from the Red River settlement in Winnipeg. That's where like the term Métis originated. And my mom's from Winnipeg, and that's kind of cool. She can actually like trace her lineage to the 1500s, because you can't get the Métis designation without being able to trace it. And when you're Métis, you do have like different hunting and fishing rights. We have reservations that are Métis specific reservations that are different than a First Nations or Aboriginal settlements. They're Métis specific. And yeah, so my mom is Métis, and she's considered quite an inspiration for a lot of people who are Métis, because she's been very successful in her life. She got a PhD in the 70s when women weren't doing that, let alone Métis women. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I listen to a lot of indigenous music as well when I color. And there's one band I really like lately called a tribe called Red, and it's like very modern but still like First Nations style singing. It's very cool. It's very different. I like different, I guess, when I'm coloring or creating. I like just something that feeds my brain in a different way.
Okay, so what I'm doing on the crown, whoops, let me charge up this pen here.
Oh yeah, North New Brunswick. Yeah.
Is, again, even though I'm coloring over the lines, remember that I've shown you how to fix that. Not fix it, but
That's
just,
so cool.
get the lines back. So that means that if you have over the lines, that you can go ahead and put them back in. And that's why I am so enthusiastic about black, the pens that I've got on our list, our affiliate list. Now, just a reminder, we're talking to Gillian Wilson, and she is the the publisher of Jolt Book, and she is here tonight to talk about the artists that she works with, and also to talk about our relationship, which is she's going to have her artists come through our group, which I can't wait. And also right now we are coloring out of one of two books that she's got here. Do you have more books that you've published?
Under my name as an illustrator, not yet.
Okay. So we've got these two books, and so we are coloring out of the mandala book, which I am so, yeah, this is the mandala book, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. I just it was confusing the two.
Oh, it's all good. I made the cover similar on purpose, but I'm sure that's even confusing.
Yeah.
You know, you want that brand recognition, but you know, it's yeah, it makes that confusion very easy. So yeah, do you guys have any questions about some of the artists that we're bringing on, or maybe you know, like what's coming down the pipeline? Like I could talk about that. Oh yeah, good night, Karen. Or anything like about, you know, the process of drawing these, that sort of thing. I actually am going to drop after this I have a time lapse drawing of this exact illustration. I don't always save the time lapses, but I did of this one because it was fun. And
Cool.
you know, because faces I free draw so quickly that, you know, it's a fun one to see. And yeah, those are, I draw them on an app called Procreate on the iPad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Let's talk about the artists that you're going to be bringing through. Let's talk about them.
Yeah. So I've got a few coming in. Like I mentioned, we've got some where they're the time or language barrier is tricky, but they're still game to try. And 24 books. Okay, so Julie, they are supposed to be on my website, but full disclosure, I had a bit of a website meltdown last week, and the images all got removed from my website, and I'm rebuilding
Oh,
it from scratch. It's okay. I actually, it's unfortunate for the week that it's not up, but there were some issues I had with the website when it was built, and I didn't have time to fully build it out myself and get these books out. So I made the choice to hire it out, and you know, the person I hired did an okay job, but they put in some broken code on the image gallery thing, and it finally went kaput, and I like for the fifth time actually. And so instead of me, like, I could have gone and backed it up and fixed it, I was like, enough. Because the other thing it did when it broke was the images would work, but it would remove the pencil from them. So it made it so that anyone could steal the images at any time.
oh,
Yeah, so I was like, enough. I can't keep, you know, waking up to finding out that my website has exposed my images. So, and when I say my, I am counting all of my artists as well. And so it's like, yeah, no, I can't have this. So, yeah, I'm rebuilding it myself, and I fixed the code. I fixed a lot of things, but I'm also adding some new functionality where you can buy the PDFs directly, and like directly on our website instead of on any other third-party application. And yeah, it's just a little bit time consuming because as I'm doing that, I'm also prepping the files for print readiness. So it's taking a little bit longer because I kind of, that's how I work. I do it all in a clump, or a sprint, as people from the software industry would know. So I'm working in a sprint, and sprints work in 2 week. It's a 2 week period of time where you sprint at something, and I'm on track to finish the sprint for next week to have the website, the new version of the website up. But yes, unfortunately, for the very short period of a couple of weeks, I won't have my images, but uh, it's a worthwhile time investment to protect them long term. And like I said, they will also be available for PDF download, which will open up the books to a lot of people. And I am doing some clever watermarking that several of the members from this group sent me. Katie sent me some tricks, so I'm working on some little tricks where I can cleverly watermark the images while still having them as a download. So yeah, that's what's going on right now with the website. But as far, yeah, and going back to the artists themselves, Yeah, we can chat about a couple. I've got Victoria Klein coming on, where I'm probably going to represent her, but she's pre-filming something for us specially. And she's actually going to be doing some fun stuff in a contest for us too. And Victoria, she actually has her own series of coloring books. She is someone I found through Etsy coloring and when I was doing my original research, and I saw that she was also an artist for hire, and I asked if she'd be willing to create coloring books for a publisher instead of direct, and she was thrilled. And yeah, she did two of our books. One is called Bewitching Beasts, and the other is, oh gosh, I'm so clumsy. The other is called Christmas Critters, and she did that one. It's more like obviously like a Christmassy book for children. The Bewitching Beast is more of an adult book. And what really struck me about Victoria's style is she's very like whimsical with her creatures. I'll actually pull it up and show it to you guys in a moment here. She's very whimsical in her drawing style and the creatures that she creates. And I really wanted something kind of witchy and magical because I had planned a bunch of books in sort of that like, you know, magical lady, witchy lady kind of genre. Just because, you know, I grew up reading fantasy and, you know, I love fantasy. So I knew when I started this company that we would be creating a lot of fantasy content, not just people, but creatures as well. And yeah, so what I love about her style is she puts a new take on like traditional creatures. I'll go get some just so you can see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Give me a moment.
And while you're doing that, Gillian, where can people get a hold of your books now?
Oh yes, they can get them all on Amazon. We do have a very happy, busy Amazon store. Just pulling. I want to see if I can't get my Christmas book.
That's right. You gotta get Sean in here.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll be right back with Sean, and then I'm just gonna quickly you guys can take a look at this cover for now, and I will go get him. What time is it, ILene?
It is 9:30.
Okay, so are we overtime?
No, we still have my normal time is still a half hour, but if we run longer than that, that's no problem. The only time that it becomes an issue, Facebook will cut me off off after 4 hours, so we can go for another hour or so, and we'll be fine.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll be right back. I'll go get Sean so you can all meet him. And he'll give me my page too.
All right. So meanwhile, let me show you, as I've gone ahead and I've put my metallics on this, and I'm going back over to reclaim the lines. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to color the hair on just this one, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to add my bling. I've got the liquid pearls, I've got rhinestones that I can use. So we can have a lot of fun with this. And I'm planning on making all my crowns different colors. So we'll go ahead and, again, I'm just recouping the lines that I lost when I put my metallic on here. And that's why I really want you guys, let's see. Let me see here. Hold on, Katie, let me find you here. If you use the program shared, with you, you can go 8 hours before they cut you off. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Okay. And the other option is really all I need to do is just take a break and just come back on, and that'll give me another 4 hours. All right. So does everybody see now how I'm recouping these crown lines? And the crown looks wonky right now because it doesn't have any of the, yeah. And Julie, I will go ahead and look up all of the books from Jolt Book on Amazon, and I will put it on my affiliate list as well. So if you guys don't mind, that would be great. The one I used to do my lives, I shared it with you, that ones you can go 8 hours live. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, be sure to
Hello, everyone.
All right.
So we're gonna just help this. There we go. Okay, so guys, this is Sean.
Hey everyone.
Oh, there you go. Straighten them up now. You've got them off to the side.
Here we go. This is us together. He is a little bit taller than I am, as you can see.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Hi, Sean. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Oh,
guys.
you guys really do make a beautiful couple. You really, really do. And listen,
Oh, thanks.
Mostly her.
Sean. Well, Sean, what I want to thank you for is thank you. Now, Gillian doesn't know that I'm going to say this. Thank you for your support of Gillian, because that has allowed her to get to the point that we met, and now she's coming into the group, and now we're having a lot of really neat dynamics go on. Lila says we love your wife. So
I love my wife too. She's good.
I'm sorry, the what, please?
Oh, he said he loves me too.
Oh, he loves you too. Okay.
You're all shy on the camera.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sean, don't go shy on us. He almost looks like he's turning a little red there.
He is, you guys. He is never like this. He's normally so gregarious, and he's talking all quiet.
Well, because I can't see the people. I just see the pictures on the top, and then I see me, and I'm like, I don't like looking at me. I like looking at other people. It's so strange looking at yourself.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? You can look at those little fae queens at the top. Look at what Eileen's done. She's given them green, like, fae ears.
I like them.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Just so everyone knows, I have zero artistic talent. I was very, very untalented growing up in art class.
In art class, yeah, but he was the football champion of his high school.
Yeah, it's very good. Just
running fast and
running into people. That's it. If that's a skill, I guess I had it, but that's it. So.
Oh my gosh,
you're
so funny. I'm gonna cut him loose because he is downstairs listening to music, unwinding from his busy work week, because it's like a Friday night for him here, which is so nice. But you guys, thank you for having him. And also, yeah, I gotta spare his poor face. It is turning all the colors.
Well, nice to meet everyone. Thank you.
Okay, but before you go away, like I said, I want to thank you for the support again that you have given Gillian in her ventures to put this publishing company together, because it's all like a domino effect, and it's energizing my group. It's doing some great things for us and for Gillian. And we've got a really good relationship going, and you just never know when you start something like this where it's going to go. So again, thank you for the support. I know you guys are working through the issues with trying to buy the house, and Gillian.
I did fill them in on some of that.
Yeah, fingers crossed, everyone. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you,
so
ILene.
For your support of her, and
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you so much. You said so much about you.
Have
So,
fun.
Well, and
That's the
he's getting
hubby.
back to normal. He's getting back to normal color now, so that's good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I'm seeing all the comments and they are so cute. Oh my gosh, you guys. We love your wife. Yeah, he is, you can tell, I'm so surprised at how shy he just got. Like, he normally doesn't speak quietly, like, or anything, but yeah, I think 'cause I told him, like, hey, like, lots of people will watch this, like, this is what I'm doing tonight, and he's very proud and excited for me. But yeah, I think he got hit with a dose of shyness. I was surprised, but thank you for having him and welcoming him. And
Wow.
he really is the best, but I'm biased. So just gonna show you guys, since we do have half an hour here, he looked like your hair. Yes, he also, like when I was touching him, he was like really hot, like physically to the touch. Like I was like, oh my gosh, he's like burning up from like the stage fright. Yeah, you know, ILene, I have to give you kudos. Like you show up on camera every day, you know, of the week, and you just are so open with your audience. And I will say it took, like, you can tell, like at the beginning for me, all the videos, like it's, you get a little bit of like anxiety, but like you're so good at making me feel calm that you settle me in pretty well. But yeah, I could tell Sean was having a shy moment too, and I was like, wait, he hasn't had that sort of easing in. I just sort of grabbed him. I was like, hey, come upstairs. And you know, and he was giving me hugs, and he's like, how are you doing? I'm like, good, come upstairs. So he's relaxed and just enjoying his night with his dogs. His typical thing on a Friday is he likes to listen to music on his headphones to unwind and just pet his dog. So it's actually, this is perfect timing, because usually I'll be sitting and drawing with him quietly while he sort of just comes back to himself, because it's a very like outgoing job that he does, and very, very intense. And I'm just showing you guys, this is some of Victoria Klein's work.
Okay.
So this is an artist. We're going to pre-record something, and then I also have asked her a bunch of questions, but if you guys have any questions for her ahead of time, what I can do is like post some of her work and then gather your questions and kind of interview her myself and bring them out. And she's also going to record something because she's an adorable little lady. So she will record something, but you know, that way she can she won't feel it, because I don't know if you guys know any second languages, but I will say speaking in a second language, you know, on camera, it just adds to that stage fright, right? So I totally understand, you know, wanting to do a pre-recorded thing when it's in a second language to her. Her English is quite excellent, but yeah, I do understand that. Oh, throw him under the bus. He looks like you're. Yeah, Julie, it is a sport. I'm very good at throwing Sean under the bus, but it's all in good fun. We tease each other a lot.
Yeah, Gillian, turn the book around. You've got it upside down on camera.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
See,
Cool.
this is why, and see, it's so funny because to me, and now it's upside down on my feed, which is so funny.
Yeah.
There you go. So this is some of her work. This is the more like fantasy one, the Christmas critter one. I don't have it handy. I think I might have actually given my copy to a neighborhood child who was in need of a pick-me-up a couple weeks ago or a month ago. So I have to reorder that one. But yeah, you can see her style. It's very unique. And then her holiday one is you know, regular normal animals, but it's drawn in this sort of loose style still. So yeah, her work is a lot of fun.
Okay.
Victoria, and she did the rendering. I did the text and stuff, but this image she did. So she actually makes prints, and her 3D, like her colored in prints are all magic like this. Like they're just insanely nice. And so I will be selling some of her prints on our website as well. And all of those will, like all of the funds from that will go to her. I'm not in the business of making money off of prints. I'm in the publishing industry, but
if I've got a website already set up for e-commerce, it's really straightforward for me to add her prints directly and give her another source of income through us, which is really great because, you know, those colored in prints, like I would buy them and put them in my house, and selfishly I probably will order a few for myself, just because she is so much fun.
Okay, and what I will do, guys, so yeah, I turn your coloring around as well so we can go ahead and see it in the proper position.
Like that?
Yeah, there, yeah. I mean, you can turn it back while, yeah, beautiful. Okay, good. Okay, turn it back so you can go ahead and color it here. What I'll do, guys, is I'll go ahead and list all the Jolt books to our affiliate list. So if you will please give me time to do that, I would appreciate it. That would be great. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
so yeah, that's one of our artists. Oh, yes.
Oh, what I've done
my
is
phone
I've
got turned around.
I've added the additional. What did?
She figured it out. It was my phone that got turned around when I unplugged it
Okay.
and replugged it in. That's when it got all twisted, I think.
Yeah, it
I
did.
know.
Perfect.
Oh, here we go.
Perfect.
Sweet. So sorry, what were you saying, ILene?
So what I've done, guys, is I've gone through and I've added more lines into the hair. You know that I like to do that sometime. It is totally up to you how you want to do that. Yeah, go to your left a little bit, Jillian, so we can watch you. You're off camera.
Okay, I think I'm gonna switch it back then, because I don't know.
Okay. Either way, whatever works for you. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've added the lines here, and I'm going to, let's see what I'm going to do. All right. Okay, so this artist that you were talking about that's a little bit gun shy, even though she speaks English really well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what were you saying? Go ahead and continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, so that's Victoria Klein, and she is one who we will have on in that capacity.
Okay.
And she'll be like the next one. And then we've also got another really cool artist that is from the States. His name is Daniel Willis, and he's a lot of fun. He is our gnome fantasy, epic fantasy like discovery, and his style is very intricate, very detailed. And he's actually really interesting because he hadn't been drawing for a while, and then he got like a tablet from his wife, I think for like his birthday or something like that, and he just got back into it, and his work right away spoke to me. I found him in a Facebook group, and you know, newer artist as well. Like I'm actually his first commercial client, and you wouldn't know, like he is such a professional guy to work with and a lot of fun, and yeah, just really crazy talented as well. I mean, he, like the fact that he just kind of came back to it to me is like mind blowing for the skill that he's able to achieve. And yeah, he's still learning, you know, like he's still figuring out line weights and things like that. But he does know how to create a good clean line, and he takes feedback extremely well and actually quite enjoys getting feedback. He's very much like someone who likes to grow his skill, and so he's looking forward to this. And he does, like, we haven't published his book yet because it's been such a, it's a bigger book than most. It's actually it's a book I'm going to try and get published on thicker paper in a limited edition run. I might even do a Kickstarter for it because we actually have 50 images of his fantasy world that he created. basically from his mind. And it's gnomes and dragons and creatures that are in this sort of like world with, I'm going to call it cognizant, animated, aware plants. And so, you know, there's some battles between like different plants and mushrooms and evil wasps and swamp creatures that look kind of like insects. And you know, there's a little scary, there's some trolls, there's a plant dragon, and like I said, a lot of gnomes and mushrooms. But there's like a story you can see in his work, and it's very, very evident what the story is. So we're actually working on creating some content for it, like some story content, to build upon that, to just make it a really cool, immersive book. But we don't want to go too far with it. Long story short, his book is probably going to come out in a month. We're still working on the presentation and everything like that. But he's an artist I'd love to bring in even before the book goes live, because you guys might have some really great feedback. And he's the kind of artist who would love that feedback and would definitely make adjustments based on what you had said, because he's just that kind of artist. He's awesome. So we'll have him on as well. And you can see some of his work, and he's, yeah, so that's another one.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm using liquid pearl right now.
Ooh.
And Gillian, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but what it does, do you know what it is?
You showed me the last time and I'm obsessed.
Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm just popping the back of the page just a little bit so those little peaks go down.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm making the little star patterns over the crown. Now I'm doing this a little bit backwards only because I want to concentrate on this one piece right now.
Right.
With my bling. All right, give me a second here. And what I want to do now is look at attaching my adhesive pieces to this.
I'm so excited to see
what
what you're doing.
I'm sorry?
I'm so excited to see what you're doing here.
Oh, okay. Now, normally, you're supposed to do this at the very end, but because we've got 4 of these images, I'm going ahead and accelerating this just so that I can show you what I want to do with this. Ah, there we go. So give me a moment to pull up what I need. Let's see here. And go ahead, Gillian, if you want to continue about your artist while I'm looking for this one package that I need.
Oh yeah. Well, I was just curious if anyone had any questions. And I'm just looking through here and I see some funny comments about needing some books. I'm guessing that was Bewitching Beasts. And yeah, Lila looks excited about your rhinestones. So, but yeah, I'm excited to have some of these artists on as soon as they're ready and we get their books out to ILene. Although, like I mentioned, Daniel, we might actually do ahead of time before the book's out, because it's been such a big project that we've worked on together, bringing his like fantasy world to life. That you know, it might actually be really cool to have him in before it goes live. and get some feedback on it, because like I said, he is a newer artist, and we are doing some some different things, but it's his style. I don't want to say it's like Kirby Roseanne's, because it's very much his own style, but the intricacy level is definitely there with what you see with Kirby's work. He's very intricate as well. And I know Kirby has a gnome book specifically. This is not the same style. I would say it's very much like, you'd have to see it, but Daniel does have his own style that is quite distinctive. And yeah, I just think, there's a market for work like that. And again, just people have to know it exists. And that's why I want to get him and his name out there. And he is very, very much, oh, your alias is Quirky Bling. That's what Lila just said. And I love it. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's right. An artist gave her that. All right.
It's funny.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bling up this crown. And I'm going to use my glitter here that you've seen me use this before. And I'm going to use this rich gold on the top. So let me put you in and show you that. I love doing these side by sides. I think that's so much fun just to see the different interpretation of this.
Me too. This is really interesting.
Okay. All right. So what I always recommend is just get yourself a little bit of a, put your glitter on, and you want to use your toothpick. You have those handy. And the intention here is to go ahead and glitter up this crown all the way. Now, it's still important to put your base color on there if you're wondering why I did that. Because that's still going to influence this. And that's that subtle thing where your brain sees it, even though your eye may not. And that's really important when you do your coloring, to keep that in mind, because that's going to give you your richness and your dimension.
That is so true.
And if you're careful with the way that you squeeze this out, you can get this to be quite accurate. Everybody see how I'm hitting all the marks with that? Gillian, I was going to say your artist, the one that speaks the English really well, but she's just, a little embarrassed to come on live and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe she and I need to do a FaceTime.
Yeah, I think that would be a great way to start. Maybe get her comfortable.
Yep.
But I definitely don't want to pressure her. She's such a little sweetheart. But
yep.
Yeah, maybe just brought some comfort, and yeah, I mean, that could work. I am totally happy to do that. She is the nicest human. Well, all of you guys are, so I'm sure we can get her calm and happy to join us. I mean, that would be such a win.
Well, and I think also that if she were to come into the group and just see how we broadcast and operate, that's going to help her as well. Okay, everybody see how this glitter now is really giving us a really nice oomph to this crown. And you guys know, I've talked about this too, is just don't add bling for the sake of adding, but we can just add some really nice touches to this.
Like I said, I'm so excited to see what you do. If we don't bite, we take our teeth out. Lila, you're hilarious. Oh my goodness. I love
Yeah,
that the Canadians bring so much funny to this group. You're all funny though, but yes, Lila, I enjoy you.
we're all, yeah, just as long as you say that we're all funny in a good way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
ILene, you are off screen, she says. But I'm guessing maybe that might be your paper.
Oh.
Or maybe off.
Yeah, I do that. Okay. So you can see now how intricately I am adding. This glitter now to the crown.
That is so pretty.
And then we're getting a really nice subtle coloring on that.
Oh, Katie, I'm excited to see the cat. Yeah, I think Kate and Stephanie also is working on the cat egg. So you guys are gonna laugh. My husband printed it off, and bless him, he printed it cut off. And he's like, "Were you just wanting half the egg?" And I was like, "No." But it was so cute. Like he was so like, "I did it." He was like, "You're the best." So you guys are gonna see me do this one, but to be honest, this one's taking longer than I thought. My other mandalas I do go faster, but faces do take longer, because you know you want to blend and shade and add some dimension and pop to the page. I think you know. Oh, and ILene, I think people are still struggling to see. I can see you though.
Yeah, I'm on screen. I'm checking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Melissa, that might be something with your broadcast because I'm double checking my monitor.
Yeah, and I can see you too, ILene.
Okay.
I am looking. Wow, that green eye really pops.
Yep.
Love it.
Okay, now walk me through. So I need to put a light blue on the white part of the eye.
Yeah, very, very, very pale blue, and then, you know, using white or a blender just to kind of smooth it. But yeah, if you put a little pale blue, that's actually going to make the eye look, weirdly enough, from a distance more white and full, I guess, on the page than like just white paper.
Oh, okay.
So it makes the eye look more like real and 3D than just pure white.
Yeah, guys, that I'm not sure why that's happening because I'm looking at my monitor and it looks like
Oh,
Gillian
now it
says
is
I'm
getting pushed off. Yeah, it might just be too zoomed in. You might just need to zoom out slightly.
all right. I'll do that.
Oh, and you need to pull to the left, Lila says.
Yep.
Oh,
There we
there.
go.
Can only see your hand. Yeah, I think now we can see the image. It might have been just
Okay.
too zoomed in.
Okay, so I went ahead and put in that little blue, and I'm going to go ahead and blend that just a tad. Yeah, that really is interesting how it does that.
Yeah, hey, like now that you've seen it, it's like you can't unsee it. Once you've done the blue eye thing, it's like, oh. Yeah, that was something I learned painting. You always, when you're doing a portrait and you're doing an eye, you add a little bit of blue to the white that you're painting it. And you know, that's also how you can create like a roundness to the eye, right? But
Okay.
that's like your shading. If you add a little bit more of it. So if you add a little bit more in the corners and the top, it'll give it sort of that like three-dimensional look. And then if you
Okay.
really want to go realistic, you add a little touch of pink on those inner corners as well.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, Jillian, what I'm going to do, because we're at 10 o'clock, is
Look at that.
I'm going to invite you back to
Okay.
continue on this. and to work on that cat. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Well, and my cat, unfortunately, is dead. Not my real cat. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh about that. My cat egg mandala was printed in a faulty manner, so I do not have him printed correctly for tonight, ironically. But I would love to see you, like, if you want to switch to the cat, because you are rolling through this, pull to the right. But yeah, my kitty cat, I can try printing him again though one more time, but my kitty cat egg that my husband brought home was cut in half.
Okay.
Which is funny.
All right, guys, it looks like that I am centered on the screen, so I'm not sure what's going on, if it's something with the broadcast. Gillian, does it look centered to you?
It looks a little off-center, but I can still see everything you're doing.
Okay, that's
if
really
you pull it a
weird
bit more,
because I'm...
yeah, if you pull it more to, again, my right, it could be your left, but if you pulled it to the right, I'm just seeing if that's your right.
Okay.
But yeah, now you can't see it again. It's sort of going off the page. There.
So right there?
Pull it more to the direction you were doing, and you'll be there. But yeah, that's much better.
Okay. Yeah, that's really weird. That really looks off screen to me, and I don't know why that's doing that. Thank you, Facebook.
I know, right? Facebook.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken around the outside of the lips. Yeah, it seems like that as we get to the 3-hour point, we always end up having problems with, things start cropping up. So,
well, yeah, you know what? I think that's Facebook's way of telling us we need to go to bed or something. I don't know. But yeah, I do want to say, like, thank you guys for having me, and it's always a pleasure. And ILene, you're so much fun, and I'm so happy to get to color with you. This has been so enjoyable, and I love seeing the split screen and seeing like the different, like, we clearly, it's cool to see how someone's brain works, right? Because you laid them all out the same, and you're going for like a really, really cool mono look. And then I'm going the exact opposite of that. And yet they're both fun to look at for different reasons, right? Because it's a different interpretation.
Yeah.
And that's
exactly.
that's what I love about coloring. I love seeing everyone's different interpretation and just seeing, like, it's such a weird feeling to explain, but especially when it's work you've drawn yourself and like someone else's interpretation, it's just like, I don't know, it's really neat.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Lila. Oh, and Melba, you guys are so sweet. I forgot to ask Melba where you're from, because you're saying we could come visit. But yeah, like, this is loads of fun. I think, and as I go, are you familiar with the term pantser or plotter? It's a writing term. And ILene, I'm laughing because I can tell you are the plotter and I'm the pantser. So the plotter, and I'm learning how to be a plotter. The plotter plans ahead, like what they're gonna do to some degree, either a lot or a little, but there's a plan. And the pantser, literally the joke is they fly by the seat of their pants and they just sort of flow. And both are good and bad in different ways. Like, pantsers struggle because sometimes they write themselves into a corner, and I would say I'm a coloring pantser as well, so I've sometimes colored myself into a corner. But I end up with like all these fun accidents, but I definitely, I don't produce like a very coherent, organized looking colored end product. Whereas like your plan, like you can tell like you're going after a very specific look. And I think when you can plan and execute, like, that's a level of mastery. Like, it takes a level of mastery to do that. And so a lot of new writers start off as pantsers and become plotters. So I like to draw parallels from different things in my life a lot, like, compare them, if that makes any sense. And so, yeah, I'm just noticing that in the coloring side of things, how similar that actually is to the writing world on just like coloring styles. And even like there are people who will only color mandalas and they just want to color patterns with markers and like leave it as is. And then other people who, you know, only use pencils, and then you're teaching just all these different tricks. But again, in doing these different tricks, you're gaining some mastery so that you become a more organized artist. Like you go in with some intent of what you're going to do, and you have more control ultimately over your end product when you have that style, which I think is really cool. Like you are doing something here.
Well,
I can see.
It's really interesting, again, to see the styles. And this is why I really like these side-by-side colorings, and everybody that's participated in them absolutely loves it.
Yeah, so wicked. Yeah, I am hooked. I am converted. It's really neat to see what you're doing.
Yeah, and also it just brings up the opportunity. All right, guys, and what I'm doing is I'm using a little bit of white now just to soften this whole skin and to make sure that we blend in without. And don't forget that anywhere that you have colored over lines with your pencil is you can go ahead and draw those back in again. So I try to avoid them, but if you go over it, you go over it. So don't worry about that. Yeah, it's, as you said, you know, as I was saying, Gillian, every artist now so far that we've done this, it really makes for great talking points and everybody relaxes. And it's just fun. It's just creating, and the group can see stuff, and it's just, yeah, I like it a lot. I really like it.
It's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, April 6th, see Jeff Haney. I will. I loved watching him color that cat. I love his style. Oh my goodness. Could eat it. Could eat those books alive. They're so cute, those kitties. Yeah. He is cat book goals, guys. I am obsessed. But like all the artists ILene has brought in are insanely talented. It is like, you guys, I'm still a newbie and I'm still learning. I'm still a baby, really, as far as like a fine artist goes. Like Ruth Sanderson was who inspired me when I was a 4-year-old. So like the fact that you guys get to have her on this group, and people like Jeff and Don, I mean, you know, those are the people that a lot of my generation like learned from as artists, right? Like those were the people who paved the way, and each new generation brings something new to the table. So I do think my style is very reflective of who I am. Like I'm a millennial, you know, and my style is very like pop culture-y a little bit. Like I would even call this like a pop culture style fantasy, because like even the way her face, like the face is drawn, it's very much in vogue with like what millennials love to see in a face drawing, if that makes any sense. Like oh yeah, Helen too. I mean, yeah, you guys have some incredible artists. Like I'm not gonna lie, when ILene approached me and said that I could come in, I was like a little bit starstruck. I was like, me, like with those artists? But you know, it's also because I'm bringing in some incredible artists as well, and like people that are, it's interesting. Okay, I don't know if you guys have found this. And mind you, we all have done different things growing up, and I've done sports where I've had coaches, and some coaches are better coaches than actually doing like the sport that they're coaching. I know that's weird, but I have seen it, and I actually do think I'm a way better art director than a fine artist. Not that I'm a bad fine artist, but I love art direction, and art direction and creative direction is basically like, it's still very creative, but you're not always the hand doing it, but you're sort of the guiding hand. And that to me is really fascinating, to work with artists and do that kind of thing. It's such a pleasure. So, you know, I love being able to work with an artist to bring out their best on a project and give them like that direction that they need. Because I can tell you as an artist, like when you're not getting anything from your director, it can be like actually quite stressful. And a
Yeah.
lot of our directors don't know how to give feedback that is purely constructive. You know what I mean? Like where it's actually going to help make the piece better, and it's very like warm and caring. I guess I've gotten feedback that I'm a good art director because I'm like very, very good at like making them feel safe, but helping make the piece the best it can be. And I spot things, I think, since I'm an artist that a regular art director wouldn't. But I also love, you know, being an artist and exploring myself as a creative too. I love every part of it, I guess. And, you know, that's
Well,
like, I'm so blessed to get to do this.
the really neat thing too is I think that the exposure of your artists to us, and if you're willing to take the feedback and the critique, I mean, my group is not ugly about it at all, but we'll tell you what we like and what we don't like. And we've got enough members. Oh, I smoothed one. We have enough members in here now that we've got enough varied opinion, and so
Yeah.
that makes it really good. And I actually, it was funny, but when we were talking to Jeff, I was a little bit hesitant to say anything because I didn't really, I didn't want to hurt his feelings. And I figured, oh my gosh, this guy, he's got years and years and years and years of experience, art experience. But he opened the door and he said, hey, tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. And he got some really, really good feedback from my peeps because we told them what we liked and what we didn't like. Okay, so
Yeah.
I got a little smudge. Let me show you this, guys. I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. Let's see here. Okay, I need to understand what you guys are seeing on screen. The reason that I moved my piece, oops. Okay, we lost Gillian. She needs to come back. All right, we'll get her back in a minute. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm making some really bold eyes, as you can see with the green. So what I need to know from you guys is when we have the split screen, I move my stuff to the left so that it's centered in the split screen. And I don't know if that's causing a problem or not. So I'll need to get feedback from you about that. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going ahead and I want to make these eyes as bold as possible. And then what I'm going to do is where I smudged, I'm going to go ahead and just take my black marker and I'm going to color over that. So I'll get rid of that. And then I'll go ahead and reapply that drop. All right. All right. Hopefully we can get her back really quick for a few more minutes. So what I'm doing is I got my hand or my paper towel into this one piece and this one droplet. Oh, her phone died? Okay. All right. Let me fix this drop and then I'll call it an evening. And let me go ahead and tap that in so that little point goes away. I mean, I'm literally taking my hand and flicking it like that. And then we can go ahead and get that balanced again. All right, she's requesting to be back in again. So that's what I've got so far. Hi there.
Hi. Oh my goodness, you guys are gonna laugh. My this plug by my computer, I've discovered the bottom one doesn't work. So my phone was saying it was dying, and I was like, oh, I'll just plug in my phone. And the whole time it wasn't even charging. So it just went, and I was like, what is going on? So it's charged now because there's another plug that I could use. I didn't realize that that one was dead. So sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyways, but I had it on my iPad here so I could see what you were doing and hear you. I just could not communicate. But
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
sorry about that.
So what I'm going to do is we'll go ahead. I mean, I want to color for a few more minutes if you guys are still game to do it. Okay, Lila, why did your pearls collapse? You said you found out why that was happening? All right. So I just think for continuity reasons, although what I want to do, let's see. Oh, Lila, altitude. Okay, that's interesting. So it's physically an altitude problem.
Whoa. That is
And
interesting.
if you tap your
Oh yeah, and
paper
Katie,
even
is there a light
slightly,
switch?
yeah.
That's so interesting. Where we live is actually very high elevation. So that I wonder what it is in Toronto. I didn't think Toronto was a really high elevation, but I could be very wrong. Just like you have to adjust baking in high altitudes. That's cool. Yeah, we're like 400 feet above sea level here in Edmonton. We're really high up. So that is very interesting.
So what I'm going to do is
Oh.
I am going to add my pearls to the opposite piece of this because that's the similar here until I decide what I want to do on the backgrounds of the other two. Yeah, I'm glad to know that, Lila. That's just good to know.
Yeah, that's fascinating to me. Yeah, and she lives on the 17th floor, yeah, of a high rise. So that would be pretty high altitude. I hope you have a beautiful view, Lila. It sounds like you would.
Yeah. Okay, so what I need to know from you guys, and this is a view question, I need my peeps to help me here. I have my picture lined up on my split screen so that right now the split is right down the middle of my piece that I'm working on. So in other words, all I can see is from here over. I need to know what you guys, Gillian, what are you seeing right now on my screen?
Yeah, it's like bang on. It's
Is it
perfect.
really? Oh, you're seeing the
Yeah.
whole thing?
Yep.
Okay. But everybody's seeing this. You're seeing the whole thing, but on a split screen, right?
Yeah. But I can see the whole thing.
Oh my gosh. I thought all this time I had to move over. Now, see, when I move over, I can see the whole thing on my screen. Well, I just learned something. Thank you, guys. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's very different because you're right, it's a split screen, but yeah, it looks bang on now.
Okay. Because right now,
Also,
when I look on my monitor, which is right in front of me, I'm just seeing half the piece, but you guys are telling me that you're seeing the whole thing. All right. Thank you, peeps. I appreciate. That's good.
now, ILene, I missed what you used for that green eyeshadow, but it's amazing and I'm obsessed.
I just use colored pencil on there. I put a light green over the eye in pencil, and then I went ahead with a darker green to go ahead and add that flare.
It's gorgeous.
So I want that dramatic effect here. There we go.
What kind of pencils are you using?
Various brands. I've got right now, this one is a Guang Ho, which is a very inexpensive piece. I've also got Brute Funner. So
Are
what I
they
really,
wax or oil? That's the big one for me.
yeah, I think the Brute Funner are oil. Honestly, I don't pay
Yeah.
attention to that. I just pick up the color that I want to use.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Melba said that she melted one of her pencils by mistake. Oops.
Oh no.
Okay, and then to get this very dark green, this is an Arteza Expert, and that color, it's called Emerald Green.
That's what I was wondering, because that looked like it was laying down like a wax, and I was curious if it was a wax or an oil, because some oils can, but lay down like that, but it was looking to me very waxy and smooth and nice. I need to get some more wax pencils. I was thinking of getting Artezas because the Prismacolor quality control or lack thereof is, I think, really frustrating for a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't want to deal with it.
Okay, now what I'm doing, guys, is I'm going back in now with my black pencil because I've obliterated, well, not obliterated, but I've softened the black of the drawing. And so now I want to go back in and just regain that back. Well, guys, I really apologize about that view because all this time I had no idea. I didn't know that that looked centered to you because, again, on my screen it is split and I can only see half my piece. So thank you for letting me know. Okay, now this is where, if you want to go ahead and add your embellishments or something extra from what the artist has put in, this is where you can go ahead and start doing that. And you guys know that I've talked a lot about that in doing this. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet with the eyebrows because the way Gillian drew them in, they're pretty bold. Let's see what we're going to do.
Yeah,
So I don't
like
want
a
to do
bold
those
brow.
with black. Yeah, it shows.
Yeah, you should see my oh my gosh, my old makeup looks used to be like a bit scary, you guys. I used to be way too into the overly thick brows. This is me taming it.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's right. But yeah, I do like a big bold brow.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and just put back in the features of the face. There we go. Now, I accidentally touched my pearls here with my hand and it was still wet. And again, normally I would not do that in this order, but because of what we're doing, I want to show the piece. So I can just go ahead. I'm using my X-Acto knife here, and I'm going ahead and just scraping away what I accidentally smeared.
Oh, that's smart.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll tell you, my X-Acto knife has saved me a bunch of times.
I do not have an X-Acto knife in my art supply kit, and I regret this now. That is so smart.
Yeah, I can't tell you the times. I mean, I've used X-Acto knife to get rid of actually lines sometimes that artists have drawn in. Yeah, as Katie was
Yeah.
saying, all pencils have a combination of oil and wax, but it's the proportions. And so
Yeah.
that's why you get that difference between the oil and the wax.
That makes sense. Because these
obviously,
polys definitely don't go as smooth. No, and I'm newer to pencils, so this is fascinating to me. I've traditionally been more of a wet style artist. Like, like I did a lot with acrylics and watercolor.
yeah.
Watercolor is a plotter's medium, and acrylic is a pantzer's medium. So if I'm feeling like I want to plan what I'm doing, I would do watercolor, and if I was like just wanting to explode with color and see what happened, I would do acrylic.
Mm-hmm. So a planner and a plotter. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's at least the I'm just trying to think of like yeah, that's like the metaphor I have from the writing side of my brain that always has stories going on.
Okay, so I'm going to roll this around and I'm going to, let's see what we can do with this hair. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this, Gillian. That's just a lot of fun.
This is a blast. We have so much fun together, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you could all be here.
And again, the really nice thing, it goes to video on Facebook and it'll go to video on YouTube. So people can, your artists can see how something like this goes. Yeah, you're, like I said, you're one artist. What's her name again that you said is really shy? I'm sorry, I dropped her name. What's it?
Victoria.
Victoria.
Victoria
Okay.
Klein.
And what country does she live in?
She lives in Orenburg, Russia.
Okay. But you said she's got a very good command of the English language?
Written, she's not confident with spoken. But I'm telling you, like, her written, I would never know it wasn't her first language.
Okay.
Or usually when you're like that, you can speak it to a certain degree, but sometimes live it is a little more stressful. So tough to say. I've never spoken to her. We've always done written because that's where she's more comfortable.
Okay.
But
well,
like I said, I would never know.
Okay. So are you saying, were you saying planner and plotter or plot, give me those two P words again. Tell me what the two P words again.
Pantser, and plotter or planner, but they say plotter because you're plotting it out.
Okay, and spell the first word again. I'm missing it.
Pantser, P-A-N-T, like pants, and then E-R, like flying by the seat of your pants.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Which is very amusing. I think I'm gonna make her have sparkly lips. This one.
Okay, so my dots on this side here are dry enough. I just got to watch out for the glitter. So now what I'm doing on the hair is I'm just going to go ahead and put a simple blonde in here.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I think though I may take it a little more brown. We'll see. Okay, so Jillian, you can go ahead and announce the contest and also put your deadlines on it. Maybe give it about 10 days to give people time.
Yeah. Definitely. So what's that?
Yeah, I was doing some of mine a week apart, and the feedback was that's a little too close because, you know, people are working during the week and, you know, stuff going on.
Totally. Yeah. I think 10 days is a great way to do it. And yeah, I'm going to be giving out 5 different prizes, and each are going to be 2 full coloring books from the Coloring Hive. And like I said, if you are in an Amazon delivery location, those would be print copies through Amazon. Or if you're, and you can also choose if you want to do the PDF, but if you are in a remote location like Australia, for example, then you would get 2 print PDFs of any of our books. And I will make sure that you guys have links to all of them so you can see and maybe choose what you might win. And ILene, as far as like the 5 different prizes, I was thinking I would give 2 for each, you know what, 2 for the Fae Queen coronation, 2 for the Easter, and then a grand prize, which is just whichever one was the most interesting. And yeah, basically I'll give out 2 for the Fae Queen that you know, I don't know what kind of criteria you guys usually use for judgment. For me, it's just fun to see them colored in. But perhaps 1 for the most out of the box, and then maybe 1 for just really, like I'm thinking, I was gonna say 1 that is the most interesting use of color, and then maybe another one around the kind of, I was thinking from a blending perspective, like I don't know if you have different prizes on blending, but you know, maybe someone who really showcases interesting blends for the Fae one specifically. And then for the cat one, it was going to be the same thing. 1 was going to be use of color, and then the other one, instead of blends, was going to be just like, I wasn't sure. I'm open to your feedback on that one because I don't have my thing written down here, but I was thinking, I had some thoughts, but I was curious if you had any on that cat one in particular on criteria.
Well, actually, because the artist, meaning you, of course, in this case, is judging it, I like to leave it to what strikes you the most.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Well, that is exciting.
Yeah. All right, guys, so what I'm doing on this hair, what I want you to see is I'm going ahead now and I'm starting to define with the black pen the different curl, what do I want to say here? The way that the hair lays. And so I want to emphasize now some of the waves of this hair. And by doing that, that's going to give us a really nice dimension. And what I would suggest is just go ahead. I'm mostly following what Gillian had put on here, but I'm also adding in my own areas where I want to darken in just a little bit. So as you can see on this side here, that's really giving the hair the dimension. So I went ahead, I added additional lines, and now I'm going ahead and darkening certain areas of it. All right, so let me roll this around. Everybody see how cool that looks now?
That looks so cool.
Yeah, and Jillian will go ahead and define. I mean, I know you guys are coloring tonight, but yeah, you know, she can define maybe what she might be looking for. But again, it's her work, and let's see what she thinks, you know, best tickles her fancy and represents what she's intended with this.
Yeah, you know, I would say I love seeing, like when I say use of color, I know Jeff was showing you guys some color wheel stuff. I would love to see examples of different kinds of color combinations. So like monochromatic, anachromatic, things like that would be a really fun challenge, I think, to get people outside of the box on their coloring with this. And then, you know, I'll have a grand general prize of just awesomeness as well. So for a total of 5 winners.
Yeah, we like that.
I am so excited to see what you all come up with.
All right, see on this hair right here how I'm going ahead and darkening in that area? And that's giving me all sorts of dimension here on this hair. So again, I've added additional lines, and now I'm going ahead and adding this shading in with the pen. Now, you don't have to necessarily use the pen to add the shading. You can add the additional shading with your hues of your pencil. Totally up to you how you want to do that. But you know my 3Ds are what? Depth, dimension, detail.
Oh, you have 3Ds like dodgeball style. I love it.
That's right. Depth, dimension, detail.
I like yours better. They're more fun.
And what I'm really working on with people is using different shades of color in one area. So in other words, we're no flat coloring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I will be watching more too, because I definitely can fall into flat coloring as well. And so I like getting challenged too. And you really bring some interesting things to the table. Like I never would have thought of like those pearls. Like I know what those, like I've seen those in like Fabric Land and that sort of thing growing up when I did a lot of sewing. So I love like the mixed medium. I also love, I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting her name, but the wonderful lady who paints with coffee in the group. She just posted today.
Oh, Maribel, yeah. Sanchez.
Yeah, my goodness. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, some very talented people in this group. All talented.
Oh, I'm sure she'd love to hear from you if you want to say anything.
I'm going to go gush over her work as soon as this is done, because yeah, I saw that today, and it was like when I was posting the Dropbox links to these to download, and yeah, just beautiful.
You know, come to think of it, she self-publishes as well. You might want to approach her.
Oh yeah. We all got to stick together. I love the publishing community for the most part. It is so supportive and like non-competitive. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I know Jeff was talking about that on his live, and it's absolutely true. Like, I think because it's so difficult to like hack the algorithms and like get discovered that you know, you want to help others do it, especially if you've done it too. And even if you're not all the way there, but you're finding things that are working for you, it's sort of this like we're all in this together mindset that's really cool in the coloring community. It's really quite lovely.
Okay, guys, so what I'm doing now is I'm going through on what Gillian had printed out here, and I am darkening the very center, for example, of this clover leaf. And I'm filling that in with a little bit of black.
Ooh.
Because I want that to pop when it comes up. Let's see what we got here. Okay, and when you run into something where you're not 100% sure what you want to go ahead and highlight, then sit tight. Just wait until you come to a decision on what you want to do. I mean, I may even end up making this whole area, I just may color it in black. We'll see. Okay.
It's really fun to watch these take shape live.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are here with me in person
Well,
almost.
yeah. Okay, and now I'm going to go through, because you guys know that I like to use black to emphasize, because when you add black, it makes your other colors pop. And so I'm going to go through and color in with my pens this outside leaf area. And again, if you're doing something like this and you're not 100% sure what you want to do with it, then go to a different segment. Some people think they have to finish a complete area, and they finish for the sake of finishing. Don't do that.
That's such good advice.
Now, because I'm doing this outside here, that'll start helping me defining what I want to do towards the inside of all this design in the middle. All right, let me pull in just a little bit here. All right, I'm going to go to the left just so I can see how close. There we go. Gosh, I never knew that about split screen. How come you guys didn't tell me this before? I really thought I was
didn't
on
really
camera all the
notice
time.
until I didn't really notice until everyone mentioned, because to be honest, I could still see like what you were doing, and I just thought you were like zooming in a lot. But then when I looked up and I saw the comments and saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's to the side. It must have just like drifted or something. But most, like I will say a lot of it, I could see what you were like, everything.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it was only that little bit.
Okay, so as you can see now, because I'm going ahead and coloring in these outlining areas, you can really see how this center point is starting to take shape.
Oh yeah.
But wait, there's more. You know now that's my tagline, right?
I know, I love it. It's a good tagline to have.
My poor group, they never know what to expect when they sign on for the day.
They love it. Keep coming back for more. And the group's growing every day, which is great. I've definitely invited some of our regular customers to the group.
We are growing by leaps and bounds, I'll tell you. Okay, now I'm going to go out on a limb here. And Gillian, we have about 10 more minutes before it's 1:45 and Facebook is going to cut me off on 4 hours.
Yes.
Good night, Melba.
Look at us go.
So
Night,
Gillian,
Melba.
we're gonna go for about 10 more minutes. Set timer for 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes and counting.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the line that Gillian put in on the face. And I'm going to do a simple little curl.
Ooh.
And we're all either going to love it or hate it. We'll see. Now, even though my pen got lighter, and that's because I'm dragging it through pencil, and if you're not sure, you can always do this in pencil first. And then I'm going to carry it even a little further here. And bring it out this way.
That is so cool.
Now, my lines are light because, of course, I'm working on the pencil, so I'll go back with another marker. And like I said, guys, we've got about 8 more minutes to go here. This is probably going to be one of those things, either you love it or you hate it. No, Stephanie Connors, you are not the only at all. Far from it. We have lots of skill levels in here. What do you think of that, Gillian?
That's super cool.
I mean, if you don't like it, yeah, I mean, if you don't like it, tell me.
No, it's sort of like Spanish, like it gives this sort of like flair to it. No, I love seeing that. It's really pretty. Really pretty. And I love the colors you used. so fun.
Yeah, and I think you know this about me by now, Gillian. I have absolutely no ego in this. And so when I'm doing something like this, especially to your drawing, if you don't like it, just say, "Hey, not my cup of tea," you know?
Yeah, but I do like if you guys look at my other stuff, like I like embellishments. I like swirls and swoops and um curls and things like that. I think that gives it a real something extra.
Mm-hmm.
Um I don't know, you guys probably haven't read the series by Sarah J. Maas. She's like a really prominent writer. I would say more for my generation, but I've seen lots of like she's got massive fan base. And yeah, her series, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I forget what the series itself is actually called, but the first book's called A Court of Thorns and Roses or something like that. And the main character, if you look at the cover art of some of those books, especially not the current covers, but they have some older ones, and the character has like little swoops and swirls and tattoos like that on her arms, and a little bit on like crawling into her face. So it's quite on topic actually, like what you've done, and really really pretty. Like I said, I think it sort of brings it. It makes me think of that series when I see that, which is actually, I did think I was a little bit inspired by it when I did this one. I think I was doing a reread of it because a new book was coming out. And yes, it's, a lot of people joke, they are kind of smutty books, some of them, but they have fairy queens and things like that. So that was a little bit what inspired this book, or this particular drawing. And yeah, so what you're drawing on there is like very very true to like my original inspiration for it, which is quite funny. So
Well, good.
yeah, like I probably would have done that. You guys will notice I do these sorts of like funny blends, but it works. Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference when you don't spray, but I was curious because I haven't actually done mix like this without spraying in a while. And I was like, I'm actually curious to see the difference it makes. And you can definitely see in the blending. That's when I really notice a difference.
Yeah, and I absolutely, without fail, advise that when you go to color, you always spray.
Yeah,
And
I can see why.
one of the main reasons for that is because I never know what media I'm going to end up using.
Yeah. So that's a good way to ensure that you're going to get a good blend no matter what media you're using.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
it's not so important for pencils, but it is when you start getting with markers.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness, it's so cool, ILene. I'm enjoying this. She just looks like she's growing out of the little owl clover medallion in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, it does. Now, because I added these extra swirls, are you seeing the comments from Wanda?
No, hold on. I'm actually gonna have to, for me to do to see.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. You know what? I can't see the comments anymore. I was looking at them on my iPad, but you guys are gonna laugh. My iPad died, and I only have one plug that I now know works. So I chose the phone over the iPad because the phone is what I was using to show, like, that's what fits on my little overhead thing.
Yeah.
That I got, but yeah, today was just a day where it was like, hey, Gillian, we're just gonna throw all these fun little curveballs at you.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes those days you come out with, you know, happy accidents. And sometimes not happy accidents. Today was a mix of both.
Yeah. Okay, now
You guys are seeing.
I feel comfortable now coloring in those eyebrows.
Those are so cool.
And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to also carry that a little bit. And I'm going to just bring down just a little loop. And that way, that's going to balance this out. Okay. All right. And Gillian, do you still have sound? It got really quiet.
Oh yeah.
There.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
I heard you. Yep, I can.
Yeah.
Now, guys, when you add these embellishments like this, you want to be really careful, of course, about your balance. But as Gillian mentioned, it now looks like that center clover is now growing out into our face.
Yeah. It's neat though. I think that's sort of like that is honoring the subject. That is very close to what the subject was.
Okay. All right, so we're going to have to call it an evening because we are close to 4 hours and I'd rather be able to end instead of being kicked off.
Yeah.
So Jillian, what I'd like to do, your convenience, is we'll do another one of these to either continue with this, or probably we should work on the cat if you can get a printout.
Yeah, my book's arriving on Monday or Tuesday, so
Okay,
my replacement book.
Okay, we'll figure all that out. All right, guys, so I'm going to call it an evening.
Well, thank you
We
so
spent the
much,
evening with
everyone.
Gillian Wilson. Yep, we spent the evening with Gillian Wilson. She is the publisher and owner of Jolt Book. She is introducing new artists into our arena. She will be bringing them here through our group. And that, guys, is what I'm really excited about, because you some really new work that you haven't seen before. Now, some of you will love it, some of you may hate it, doesn't matter. The point is we're bringing it through for you guys to look at this. As with anything else, we all have our different tastes. So I'm very excited about
Definitely.
this relationship, and I'm glad, Jillian, that you came in tonight. You know, we talked about Jolt Book, but we also got to meet you as an artist and to play around with something that you developed and drew and the whole bit. So I hope you had fun with that. I really
Loved it.
I really like what I did with that face.
I love it. This is so cool to me. Like, I love seeing this work reimagined, and you took the swirls from the middle really and just expanded them, so it really does make, yeah, it's like very organic, and
Yeah.
it's so neat. It's so neat. So yes, for that coloring contest, I will post some details, but yeah, I love seeing unique. Maybe I do one on mixed media. I will post them on the Facebook probably tomorrow.
and just because it's late tonight. But yeah, tomorrow I'll post the criteria for the contest to win 10 coloring books, 2 each with 5 different recipients. And yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I can't read your comments yet because I got delegated to the phone, but I will definitely take a look when this is over. And I just wanted to say, mwah, thank you for the support. You guys are amazing. And I know bringing in my artists to such a wonderful group will only benefit them. And thank you guys for making such a safe place for artists to come and grow and share and be a part of this wonderful community.
Well, Gillian, it's been a ball having you and meeting you. And I just, you know, even from the standpoint, if we didn't do one thing further together, the point is now that my group has met you and you're part of our family now. And I've seen
So
nothing
sweet.
but positive feedback from people and my peeps. And I mean, they have no idea the extent to what you and I are doing together, but they still love having you come in. So that's wonderful, and it's great. All right, guys. So I'm going to say goodnight, and thank you so much for everything. I'm so glad you guys could make it. And this is ILene Vick for teaching adult coloring with ILene Vick. Guys, joyous, joyous coloring. And I will see you tomorrow night, same time, same place. And I will coordinate with Gillian when she can come back and we can work on some more projects like this. All right, guys, love you to bunches. Thank you so much. Please, please, please share this video, excuse me, this live to your timeline. And I really appreciate that. Gillian, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank
And
you
you give
guys
Sean,
so much.
you give Sean a big hug for us, and we'll have to get him back on camera when he doesn't turn, you know, 6 shades of red. That was so funny.
That was adorable. I've never seen him. Like, he is never shy. It shocked me. I am going to tease him so much tonight, you guys. It's going to be hilarious. But
You better
yeah, we'll
believe
get him
it.
back on. And yeah, he is so sweet, though. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you sending him so much love, too. That's really kind. And yeah, without him, this definitely wouldn't be possible. He is an amazing teammate, and I'm really lucky to have him, too. So
Well,
yeah,
Gillian,
you guys are just
yeah, and Jillian, I'm happy for you that you've got a partner that's helping you like this. And like I said, we're all benefiting from it now, and you're benefiting from it, and it's just great. Okay, guys, love you all. Take care. See you tomorrow night, same time, same place, and we'll get everything posted. And that was Vicky with her bell saying goodbye. All right, take
bye.
care.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Bye.